We go.
Hit it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan and Traffic. And we do this every Thursday night. And tonight, I'm inviting anybody that wants to come into our chat room on Facebook or YouTube to tell us about your cars or any car shows that you go to, or any of the history of your automotive love. And we got my man Ray from Motor Mouth. What's up, Ray?
A lot up. Always been pretty busy, even in this freaking miserable heat. It's always stuff going on, helping other guys out with their cars now.
Right.
And still trying to get mine tuned in. So it's a process. There's always something going on around here.
Yeah, I hear you. This weather is really killing me. It's either way too hot for me to work on the bus. I wait for the sun to go down.
Yeah.
Or it's raining.
I did that yesterday. I went outside. I didn't start working on my car till about 8 o'clock at night. And
yeah,
I was
that's crazy.
I'm like, man, old man's getting tired. Got to go in the house.
I tell you, that sun, it was like cooking me. I could feel myself cooking.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yep.
So it's crazy.
When I grow up, I'm gonna get a big garage where I can pull the bus in and work on it.
With air conditioning.
Yeah.
Real estate lady I've been talking to in North Carolina sent me a house yesterday. I mean, it's kind of hitting all the buttons. It's a mid-century modern styled house. So it was built in the 50s, but with that kind of modern vibe, stone and angular walls, kind of like what you got behind you a little bit. Which I kind of like that vibe. And then it's got a nice big 2-car attached with a 4-car garage in the back. And I'm thinking like, okay, we're checking off the checks on the checkbox here.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I was just down there. Now, it's not around the corner to run back and look at it. So
yeah. Have you checked the flights? Are they pretty reasonable to fly down?
No, a little expensive. I mean, it's only like $400.
Wow.
It's like, shit, man, I want the $69 special.
Right.
Wrap me on the wing, give me a pair of goggles. I'm okay. I flew to biplane. I know. Yeah.
I travel a lot, man. And I never find deals on planes.
These days, no.
Yeah. And everybody I talk to, they say, oh, yeah, I found a great deal and this and that. I'm like, what the heck?
There's a new airport out of MacArthur Airport up here. It's called Breeze. And I hear they're doing Florida flights pretty cheap. And it's like when Spirit Air came out years ago. And then we had a couple of budget airlines. I flew on a couple of them years ago. And, it was like, no frills kind of stuff. Bring your own parachute. But they weren't bad. They were great for getting around. I mean, especially if you're not going, to the other side of the world or anything,
Right. Every once in a while, I'll find a cheap one to Vegas.
Yeah. I know my flight from here to North Carolina, where I would go, it's an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes. So it's like, you spend longer time in the airport than you do in the air.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
Let's get the fellas in. I know they want to talk about the old school. Paul came up with the show tonight. So.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Paul?
I don't get credit for the show tonight. You get credit for the show. The people that are watching the show get credit for the show. I just threw out a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm honored and humbled that you selected my suggestion.
Well, you know what I say to that? Take credit when you can take it. if someone's giving it to you, take it.
But no, in all honesty, the history of the car culture that's now been around for close to 150 years, going back to the early horseless carriage stuff and the earlier automobiles, passenger cars, racing and showing off what you had has been there from the start.
Yeah.
If you were wealthy enough to be able to afford a horseless carriage automobile, you were showing it off. You didn't go and buy it and then keep it in your stable with the horses. That didn't happen.
Right.
Carriage houses were developed. Stables were restructured to be carriage houses, and then the brassiere cars and all that stuff. And then we get into the Depression. Well, even in the Depression, you still had people showing off, taking pride and joy in what they have either purchased or back then a lot of hands-on were building and fabricating and coming up with different ways. And, you know, all the smack talk about Ford and Chevy and Dodge and Japan and this and that. I need everybody who's listening to me tonight to not forget one thing. And that is, if it wasn't for the Dodge brothers, we'd have none of this.
Yeah.
It was the Dodge brothers and their foundry that was creating the work for everybody. Dodge brothers casted engines for Ford. Dodge brothers casted engines for Buick. Dodge brothers casted engines because that's what the Dodge brothers did. So until all this came about, and, you know, basically after World War II, it's no matter what, people were showing off and racing their cars. And that has not changed. Right. The cars have changed, the people have changed, but the grassroots of it and the true history, I mean, I want somebody to tell me I'm wrong. Something to show that, you know, hey, Paul, you're out there way too far thinking this. But no, it's been there since day one.
Yeah, I agree. I went to a museum down in Cincinnati, and it was the railroad, where the slaves, they came through. So we went to this one house, and they turned the old stable that was connected to the house, where they had the horse and carriage, into for slaves, to come stay. And you still see, they still see the ruts, and that history was pretty cool to see that. And then they said throughout the years it became a garage. Then they showed, where they put the garage doors on and stuff, and it was pretty neat to see that kind of stuff.
The evolution of how this started, and yes, it goes back way further than the horse's carriage. It goes into horses and carriages and barges being pulled by mules up and down the canals, the railroad industry. There's a lot there going on that so many people don't know about, with the fighting going on in the steel industry and the railroads and the shipping and the coming in of the automobile and the electricity being introduced and electric cars 100 years ago. We had electric cars 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was all the Edison and I guess it was J.D. Rockefeller oil company. They all came to an agreement. Okay, because Rockefeller couldn't sell his oil for gas lamps in your home because your home now had electricity. So the byproduct of all this was the gasoline. Okay, now we have gas cars, not electric cars, because we came close to having all electric cars. And Edison and Tesla would have been, the ones we'd still be going after.
Yeah. Now, did you guys ever watch that show, Men That Build America?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great series, man. Everybody needs to watch that movie or that series.
Yes. Good, strong history there. And what's amazing is in a lot of those series, I feel, are not Hollywood. They are factual, not revised or altered to fit today's narratives. They truly show the history of it.
Now they have one with the cars too, with Ford and Dodge. I can't remember the name of that one.
Well, that was the Men That Made America. That was the breakdown of how they went, because they started out like Paul was saying about they're producing crude oil, not oil, but kerosene basically for the lamps, and the byproduct was gas that literally was just running off into the field and into the stream. And then of course, like you said, once electricity became the norm, then what are you supposed to do with this? And then, of course, that geared up with Ford doing what he was doing, and then starting. And like you said, without the Dodge boys, none of this stuff. And of course, if you go halfway around the world on that, you got Bosch and Porsche. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, it really depends on who you want to feel that started what and did what. But it is kind of funny. Could you imagine today just pouring gasoline out in the field and just letting it run down because you didn't know what to do with it?
Wait a minute. You didn't do that yesterday? I did it this afternoon.
You know,
It was in the field that was my backyard.
Today, holy cow.
Yeah.
$3 a gallon. I'll get a few drops of that.
my thoughts is, how did they
Is that
figure
all?
out that they could use it? Like they look at it and like, well, maybe we can use it for something else.
Experimentation.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they smoked a lot of good stuff, and they were listening to Pink Floyd, because how half these people came up with shit is just mind-boggling.
Yep.
I think
Hey,
about
how does my camera look? Does it look green? I think my lighting.
Yeah.
is
You look a little green.
Like a high yellow.
It's a
You need
fluorescent lights.
Hold on.
You look a little jaundiced. You need to get out and get some vitamin D in the sun.
Yeah, high yellow. He disappeared though. It's okay. He went with pull-ups. They're gone. They both left.
I'm just waiting for somebody that owns that house walks in. And they wonder
Hey, I
why
made sure they were out of town.
Yeah, make sure they wonder why a black man's sitting in the living room.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see when you get kicked out of the kitchen, you're back down to the dungeon.
It's coming. Don't worry, guys.
I know.
It's coming real soon.
Is that better?
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little.
Hey, I got a couple hours. They ain't coming home.
I don't know. The girls said down in Florida the heat was kicking their butt, man. They've been.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I got to tell you, Yankees, you guys don't know what it is. No. You all come down here, hang out with me for a day. I'll show you what fucking hot is.
Yeah, I know, Paul. I lived in Oklahoma City, dude, and man, hot is hot. The only thing is, even hot is okay. I mean, hot's one thing, but I'll bottle up some of this humidity for you and send it down that way.
I don't understand it. We got 70-some% humidity.
And you're still dying.
I'll look at the weather here in a second. The way I used to judge humidity in the Mid-Atlantic was how much moisture there was in my Coke can.
Yeah.
This Coke can is almost room temperature, and there's still moisture on it.
I got 65% humidity.
That's inside though, right?
And I'm inside, yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably worse outside. Stay up there.
The thing,
It said when I looked this morning, 87 degrees feels like 96.
Nice.
Okay, when you go from the 80s actual temperature and feels like it's upper 90s, it's humid.
I can't work in that temperature.
I
never could.
looked. I'm sad that I looked. I should not have looked. But the actual air temperature 2 days ago, I believe it was 96. And I really didn't feel all that bad. It was warm. It was, slow moving. You were sweating, but it didn't feel that bad. Feels like was well over 100 degrees. And when I saw the number, all of a sudden I felt this heat come over me. It was the mental that you're seeing this number, and it was like, whoa. So.
Yeah, we're still sitting right now. It's 78. And it's 86% humidity right now.
Okay, so here's my air temperature probe.
It feels like 82.
Yeah, we're 76 degrees outside.
We are at 29
Yes.
Celsius.
Speak American.
Oh, stop this Celsius bull crap.
Well, it's a Mac.
Now it sounds like I'm talking to Ray.
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually not that bad in my garage. 83.7. So I'm comfortable in here. It's a little warm, but it is 8:30 at night.
I'm sitting here in 73 degrees, which is nice.
Yeah.
When I lived in Texas one time, I was in the garage. I was doing something, and the weather report was 100 degrees and 110% humidity. Now, explain to me how you can get more humidity, because 100% is normally raining.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It is raining, but the sun is so strong, it's evaporating the rain so that it's not in water droplets. It's
in
steamed
humidity.
off already.
Yeah, I hated that. God, I hated that.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
I don't know. This whole adjustment down here has been an up and down all around. Wow. Ice
Yeah.
storms, tornadoes, heat waves. What's next?
You moved into a situation.
Yeah. And probably if you did it 10 years ago, it would have been completely different.
Yes. The
'Cause-
weather pattern, even the people that have been here for 50 years, they're all saying the weather pattern the last 2-3 years is unlike anything they're used to.
Yeah, the change of the pattern. And also population, because back in the day, when they said, if you had like hay fever or stuff like that, allergic to, they say, oh, you got to go out west because there was nothing green out there. But of course, over time, they've made it to where you have pollen and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just we have to change. We had to get in everybody's business, and then we also have to change everything because it's supposed to be better for some
I
reason.
don't know. It looks pretty freaking green to me.
Well, I know, but you probably go back 20 some years ago, and that was probably all sand or dust.
I'm
30
northeast.
years.
I'm northeast Texas. Go to the west, into the western side of the state. Then yes, it's nothing but dry tumbleweeds and cactus. But
Don't
here
forget your rocks.
it's actually very much like the Mid Atlantic on the greenery, the types of trees that are here. It does have 4 seasons. They're not as equal length, and there's not a lot of transition, but it does have 4 seasons. I don't know. It's an adjustment for me. But let's get back to the history of cars, car cultures, car shows.
Right. So this weekend is the Iola car show. I was gonna go, but things just didn't work out for my trip. But Joe Cottington's there. There's a whole bunch of people there. They're having a good old time.
And that's in Iowa,
No, Wisconsin.
Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So that's only a few hours from you guys.
Yeah, it's about 7 for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna take off today. Actually, I was gonna take off, but things didn't work out.
I wouldn't want to walk around that heat. I gotta walk around in the heat all day. So
For Pittsburgh, don't forget about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's coming up.
Oh yeah. See, I'm close to there. I can go over there and hang out and go back home.
Exactly, and that's 10 days worth of motorsports events. And again,
Yeah.
a lot of history in Pittsburgh is steel company and the automotive industry in its relationship and everything that's going on with the vintage stuff in Pittsburgh coming up. So please get a chance, go over. I cannot go this year. I'm not going to be attending this year.
Okay.
However, I am going down Cato Mills on Saturday. I think you know the guy, Lewis. Zach Parks from Wired Customs, I believe it is.
Zach Parks. That name sounds familiar.
I want to say you actually had him on the show one time.
Zach Parks.
It's that whole 2 degrees of separation between all of us.
Yeah.
he's associated or was associated with that guy in the Carolinas that Arco and I went down and built the car with.
Okay.
Greasy's Garage or whatever his name was. Jeff
Oh.
Lambert.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we're all connected, man. Somewhere.
it's just 1.5 degrees of separation between all of us in the car family.
Yep.
But yeah, there's going to be a nostalgic car show. Pre-64 or pre-67 is the cutoff on the car show at the drag strip. And he's focused on flatheads and the flathead drag racing history. So that should be a good turnout on Saturday.
Yeah. Have you guys watched the Outlaw series when they're racing in shoot, where are they at? Like they pick 62 cars, the fastest cars in the country.
You're talking about no prep?
Yeah, no, it's not a no prep. It's I can't think of the name of it. But it's pretty good. It's a good series. They're all racing for $100,000.
Well, that's Mega Cash Days.
Yeah. That's it. That's a pretty good series. You guys should check that out. A lot of fast cars, man. Them dudes are not playing.
Oh no, they're not. Oh my God. Ridiculous how much money they got in those cars.
I was going to say they're driving $1 million cars to get $100,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Look, I'm looking at their trailers. I'm like, man, the trailers are $300,000-400,000 grand.
Oh yeah, the truck and trailer rigs are $500,000.
Yeah.
That's a cheap one.
Yeah.
And let's keep this in line with tonight's topic and the history and everything. Go back just 50 years, and you never saw the sponsorship, the media coverage, the endorsements. You saw the guy building a race car in his garage who put it on a flatbed wooden trailer behind a station wagon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Watch a movie. Watch Heart Like a Wheel. I don't mean to endorse that particular movie because there's so many of them. Heart Like a Wheel. What Shirley Muldowney did in the early days. That's history of the motorsports and where its founding was. American Graffiti 2. A lot of people don't know there was a second American Graffiti, but American Graffiti Part 2, where they show them at the drag strip for, hour and a half, and everyone swarming together to help them at the end win the race. The camaraderie, even though you're my competitor, I'm going to help you out.
Yeah, Hollywood Nights.
Hollywood Nights, same thing.
Paul, have you ever had the chance to go to a Don Garlitz?
Have I ever had what?
Have you ever seen Don Garlitz race?
No, I've never seen Don race. I met him one time and shook his hand, but that was about it. I've never seen him race. And I've never seen his museum.
Oh, that's see.
It's in Florida, right?
That's on my to-do list.
Ocala.
Every time I've been in that part of Florida, I've never gone.
Oh, you should see it. I rode by it. I didn't go in, but it takes up half. You can see it from the freeway, and it takes up a long stretch.
Garlitz was at a match race at Raceway Park. This is mid-1980s. In fact, he was match racing Connie Colito. If you walk
where?
Raceway Park, Englishtown, New Jersey.
Englishtown, New Jersey. Yes.
If you walk by Don Garlitz's pit, the one thing you will notice, nothing shines. Everything is dirty. Everything is just the way it was. He liked it the way he liked it. He didn't spend any money on polishing anything or making anything look good. He spent all the money on going fast.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of those guys who wanted to go fast for as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
and a lot of people liked it for that because he was like, why are you doing that? Why are you spending so much money on making it look good? Just make it go fast. It'd be a lot better. It'd be better off. And that was one of the great things about it. I mean, he had this beat up old pickup truck that he was using to tow the dragster around. It's like,
well, yeah, I got pictures of a gentleman that I got to meet, and actually the distributor that's in that car came from a guy named Gene. Gene Alsheiser was a funny car driver back in the 60s and 70s. Gene worked his ass off all week long to go racing on the weekends. And that's, again, worked out of his garage, small trailer to haul the car behind a Chevy Suburban. There was nothing fancy about it. And it was a struggle. He'd tell me stories. Transmission went out in the Suburban towing home from Indianapolis. And I have to be at work. What do you do?
Yeah.
But 50 years ago, you'd see the guy on the side of the road changing the transmission.
Sure would. We got a couple guys around here that are pretty good racers. They're known for running, but it amazes me how they change motors out in between races.
Well, you also got to remember these engines that are the hardcore drag race stuff. They're not meant to last. They're meant for one run, and then they rip them apart and put them back together and do another run. Whereas you, me, the general public, even the weekend warrior, we need that race engine to last.
Yeah.
We need it to, at least go the weekend so I can go to and from the track. I built an engine to drive from here to Maine and then go to St. Louis for lunch the next day. I built something that I know is going to go the distance. But you also don't see me hammer on it at the racetrack. It's a give and take.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you this question. What is the oldest electric car you've ever seen?
It was in the 19-teens. It was in the mid-teens. And I want to say it was a Sears and Roebuck.
Oh, yeah? It's amazing how much stuff Sears and Roebuck built. Guns, cars, houses. Yeah, you can buy a house in the catalog.
I got 3 of them. I got 3 of those houses downtown Silver Spring still.
Yeah.
They got a little plaque out front saying that these were ordered from Sears and Roebuck. And they got
crazy.
Yeah.
Everywhere between, say, the District Line, 16th Street, Colesville Road, up towards Burtonsville, and from that point up towards Wheaton, Kensington area, and from that point all down the District Line through Tacoma Park and Langley Park over towards the Delphi. It's filled with Sears and Roebuck homes.
Oh, yeah? I don't think I ever seen one. Or maybe I just didn't know it was one.
Yeah, when I'm down there on Thursdays, I drive by. I'll have to take a picture and send it to you. It's funny that
still holding up, though, huh?
Still there.
The Rain Avenue and Sutherland Road in Four Corners area of Silver Spring. There's one Sears and Roebuck house on one corner, and diagonally across from it, where what used to be a mailbox on that corner, was the other Sears and Roebuck home. And it was truly mirror images of each other the way they sat on that corner.
I think it's coming back to that because there's companies starting to make houses that you can order and they bring it in on a truck. Like Tesla has new houses.
Well, that's how my house was done. They brought it in on 2 trucks. Brought it in on 2 trucks, bolted it down.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen pictures of my house.
Who's hammering?
Oh, that's Lucy's tail. Yes, girl. She's
Happy.
There you go. It's still light enough you can see.
Yeah, prefab.
Came in on 2 trailers.
easy.
Yep. We have some. They call them company houses. U.S. Steel mills were here, and they built company houses for the employees. And they poured concrete walls, floors, everything. The whole house is concrete.
Oh wow.
Except for the roof. It's pretty slick. And they're just now they had them on a lock where it was historical, but they just unlocked it and they're starting to tear a lot of them down because they're just so bad. But it's pretty cool how they made them. I bet you it was a 2-foot wall, 2 foot thick.
That's good.
The back to the history and the Silver Spring areas where I know a lot of history is they had a section between what is now Colesville Road, University Boulevard West, up towards Saga Creek Parkway. That whole section in there was military housing. And they have old photos of that area where these homes were. And it's just rows and rows and rows of these military little 2-bedroom homes.
Chicken coops.
Yeah.
Over by Northwood High School used to be the prison camp for the Japanese during World War II.
Yes, it was.
When they rounded them all up.
Yes,
crazy stuff around here. Come on up. I'll throw you in the tool truck and I'll take you for the 50-cent tour because there's a lot of stuff that's, like I said, really, really crazy.
I'll tell you, Brian, I've been down your way enough. One of these days, I'm going to drive down there and take you up on that.
Yeah,
me
too.
There is so much stuff, and you go by and they have take you out to the underground city out off Zion Road. You got Missile Man silos all in the woods back in there. Dude, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when we were kids, we tried to open one of those damn things. We spent hours prying on that thing, thinking that we're going to open that son of a bitch up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How often do you go down Colesville Road through White Oak and into Four Corners, Silver Spring?
Huh?
How often do you go down
Every day.
Colesville Road through White Oak and into Four Corners area?
Every day. I go through Four Corners almost every morning.
All right, I grew up.
You have to acknowledge the Sheik. I'm sorry.
The Sheik is in the house.
The Sheik of Arabic just showed up.
You trying to stay cool, Isaac? Where's your camel at?
Yeah. Parked out back.
I'm sorry, Paul.
10224 Colesville Road was the house I lived in for 20-some years.
Oh, yeah?
When you're working on that.
That is where, just south of Kingsman Farm, what you pass every day now is Kingsman Farm housing community. Just after you cross Northwest Branch and start coming up the hill on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
The original farmhouse is still there. It's up in the center. But that was all woods and that was all farmland at one time. There was also a house that was at the corner of Southwood and Colesville Road where the big sign that says Kingsman Farm is now. There was a red house there. I knew it as a child as the AKA tenants' quarters. Actually, it was the slave quarters for that farmhouse. And apparently, it was knocked down around 74, 75. Apparently, it had something to do with the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
And it's documented and all in those paperwork through there, but they tore the house down.
Yep. See, well, I can't show you. Well, back over here is the Underground Railroad.
The farm quarters that was up there, there is and it's probably still there, and you could probably still access it. Between Northwest Branch and the spillway, there's a creek off to the side of it.
Yeah.
If you follow that creek up towards Kingsman Farm, there was a tunnel, 2 tunnels actually. One went to the tenant home, one goes up to the farmhouse. And then it also went further back to where the garnet mine was. And a lot of people don't know that there was a garnet mine up Northwest Branch further.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
the National Park Service during the summer they have where you can walk the underground tunnel or the
Have you ever
underground
been,
railroad.
Brian?
Huh?
Have you ever went through it?
Have I ever? I've been
He doesn't
not
fit.
with the. I've been without the tour, but I mean
Yeah.
I've seen it. But we got right back over. Like I said, we got quarters in a cave up over here, and then Sandy Spring is 3.5 miles from me, 4 miles, and there's all kinds of stuff back there with it.
It's pretty
all really-
interesting.
I mean,
you know, if you get a chance to go, you should probably go to the tour because it's pretty interesting. I learned a lot.
A lot of that stuff is really crazy, and that's it's kind of funny because you come here and you're like our local news is the national news. We
Yeah.
don't it's kind of hard to because the government's our biggest employer, so all that stuff is, and if there is really local news, it's very small because it's all it kind of ties in, but it's really crazy how much stuff, and like I said, just the diversity of everything here with between military stuff and just all that stuff. There's so much stuff. It's
And then
crazy.
the unspoken history about the White House.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the tunnel. I mean, they have the tunnels over there. I mean, the underground. They actually have railroad tracks underground where they would bring stuff in and out and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
There's rumors that there is actually a tunnel that was developed back, Civil War era time frame between. What would that area be called? Is that still considered Brighton, where the original White House was? Is that considered Brighton, or is that considered Olney? What is that considered back then?
Brookville was only the White House. I mean, it was a capital.
Okay, Brookville.
That was only a capital for 2 days and a night or something when DC was burning.
Correct, but apparently there's some kind of pathway or something between that area of Brookville where that White House is and downtown DC.
I don't know.
Somebody tried to say, no, those are just stormwater tunnels. Well, no, they didn't have stormwater tunnels in Olney.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I know when they put the metro in, that's why it's all jumping around town because I'm sure there is some tunnels.
That's how they got the coke in there.
Discovered when they were digging the metro.
Exactly. I was wondering about that, Louis. Now you figured it out. You broke the story.
Broke the story.
We figured out how to get it in through the tunnel.
Yeah, that's
Let's get back to car shows and car show history.
Okay. So my question was, what's the oldest electric car? The oldest one I've seen was the Model A, and it was at Welder Up, Steve Darnell's shop in Vegas. He has one there, and he turned it into he took the 2 front seats and made them electric chairs, like
Oh shit!
with the helmet, the electrocute you.
That's funny.
So it was pretty cool. And then I've seen
What
one.
he thinks.
Yeah, I seen one at a museum in Indiana. Me and Lou went to it. I can't remember the name of the car, but it was probably in the. I want to say it was in the 50s or 60s, maybe. Electric car. I can't remember what the name of it was though.
Yeah, there's some early stuff. And you got to remember, in the early days of the automobile, anybody and everybody was building and making something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the big manufacturers that we know of today. There are so many companies out there prior to the Depression, and even prior to 1920, prior to the Roaring '20s. If you had a bicycle shop, you were doing bicycles. Some were doing airplanes, and some were doing cars.
Yeah.
They say the very first
expanding, and people were doing but people took the ability to do something. And these guys didn't have Google to go, okay, what do I do now?
Right.
Google
it's all
it.
brain power.
It was true thinking.
They say the very first electric car was 1832 by Robert Anderson.
That's way back.
Yeah.
And I know, like Robert Balch. I mean, he had electric motors on some late 17, wagons that he made into. They had motors on, and I know that was one of the. It's kind of funny. We had when I was at the dealership, we had a heritage class, and we had to learn all this stuff back, about early Porsche stuff, Bosch, the dude Pirelli, the Pirelli tires, because he's like one of the first dudes to make them extra wide, the wide tires, and it was kind of interesting reading that stuff and like I said, dude, there must have been some really good stuff burning in the fields, because to come up with all that shit was incredible. So,
well, there was nothing else to do back then but to think for yourself of something.
I guess, I don't know.
It was either that or make babies. I mean,
yeah.
I figured. I figured back then you were too busy trying to survive. I mean, I'd be too busy trying to survive than worry about what happens when I hook a 9-volt battery to this fucking motor or whatever. I don't know, or how to make a 9-volt battery first, I guess. So.
Youth of today will never know what our great-grandparents went through.
No.
But gasoline was also a quarter back then, so.
Not even that. You could pick it up in the field running out in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. So.
I'm trying to look up this car.
Oh, the one from Steve Darnell?
No. This was a company we went to in Indianapolis. I think it was Indianapolis. No. Shoot, I'm about to. I don't know. I forget.
It's somewhere over there.
Yeah, we went to a car show there, and they had.
Oh, I just got the AC back together and running.
Oh yeah.
All right, so while we're talking
just
about
came in
first
like
car shows and electric
right before I
cars,
signed on.
I'm not 100% positive, but I believe it's starting right about now, or it's going to be starting in the next couple days. Is the high school and university solar car challenge, which is going to be going from somewhere in Texas to the West Coast, I guess Santa Monica or something.
I think it was either Popular Mechanics or Popular Science who covered that a couple of years, well, more than a couple of years ago.
I remember in the late 80s and early 90s, the University of Maryland was involved, and it was called the Sun Race 2000.
Right. Yeah.
And it was the, I don't know why it was called the Sun Race 2000 when it was the late 80s, but it was to do a solar powered car to go from East Coast to West Coast, I think was the whole deal. So I think it's fantastic that they are continuing this tradition of trying to build a solar powered electric vehicle in the high schools and in the colleges.
Yeah.
Is this practical? No,
haven't really.
but they're doing it. So let's see them do it.
Well, it's nice that that it's the younger kids in it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that'll lead into other things in the automotive industry.
They get the tech students because that's kind of what they're learning in school anyway, and then it becomes a class project, and then they get to apply it, and then they get the bragging rights. So that's where it's got to start. It's got to start at the school level.
Right.
An engineering challenge.
Yeah, I mean Microsoft always had an entry, but I think they would do it like not judged because they were Microsoft and they had more technology. But
Tesla
a lot of
does.
people can see what they did and get further ideas. And that's where that stuff has to come from.
Yeah, Tesla has a big program.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
Yep. We had a celebrity pop in. Terry Wilson,
Yeah.
Coverman 66.
You're crazy.
What up, bro?
Everything.
What's going on? How's everyone doing?
All right. Are you out traveling around or are you back home?
No, I'm home. See the little boy back there?
That's what I thought, but I saw your thing on Facebook. You were at the body shop in Kalamazoo or Michigan or what?
That was
Miami?
Mass.
No,
That was that was
Maine.
the other day. Yeah, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Richard Rebuild's shop. Yeah, we were doing a quick project real quick, and he needed, he wanted me to help him build an engine, so I went out there and helped him out.
Good trip.
Yeah, it was a good trip. We're putting a lot of power in a small vehicle.
Yeah, some hot rodding.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a second. I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, it's just something new, something that's real new. Yeah. So now, yes, yeah. So it's we had a good time, and here I am. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Trying to stay cool.
Yeah, trying to stay cool and dry.
Yeah.
Them Yankees are still complaining about the heat.
And we always will.
100%.
Well, Terry's on board with us, so it's another one.
Yeah, it's scorching out there, man. Right. I got to bring one of the dogs out to walk. I'm not looking forward to it. This is like.
Aren't you in Georgia?
I'm
Terry?
complaining about the heat because I'm
about 40 minutes from Ray.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were down south. I'm sorry.
No, everyone thinks that for some reason. They think I'm even down south of California.
No, seriously. I thought you were out of Georgia or Tennessee or something.
No. That's too hot. That's a different type of heat.
In New York.
Yeah, that's a different type of heat. Maybe one day. But if anything, it's going to be now down near Bryant, down in Delaware area.
No taxes.
There you go. And as soon as I move down there, they'll be like, "Yo, we're taxing like New York."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your tax rate with you.
You go to Delaware. Stay away from Maryland.
No. Yeah. So how's everyone doing?
It's a little warm.
Yeah. What's the topic of discussion?
We were talking history of automobiles or car shows or anything like that. Anything in the history.
Cool. What are
we're
you
talking
still
about
in
electric a little bit?
Are you still in New Orleans, Louis?
Do what?
Are you still in New Orleans?
No, I'm at home.
Okay. Because I know you called. Everything all right? Because you called me before I got on the show.
Yeah. Yep.
You were in New Orleans?
No, I've been home. I didn't go nowhere.
I thought you went to that car show. That
No, it's actually this weekend, but I ain't gonna make it because my buddy didn't call me back to go with me.
Yeah.
I mentioned no names.
I mentioned no names. I couldn't make it.
No, I couldn't go. I couldn't go, man. This stuff's just everything's upside down. You know what I mean? I just couldn't break away.
Yeah, I'm planning for a SEMA trip though.
Yeah.
That and PR. I'm trying to knock out both of them.
Derek's there building a Camaro. I think it's a '69.
Here are the most dangerous.
Sorry. Most dangerous.
I posted. I sent you a post on it.
Oh, let me see.
Did you get it? Yeah, he's.
I think.
Now what they're
Here
doing
are
is
the most dangerous American.
God.
what they're doing is they're rebuilding a car right there in a tent, and he's going around getting the parts from the swap meet.
Yeah, someone else did that a while ago. That's a pretty cool project.
Yeah, and
then you got to drive it. You got to drive it somewhere.
I'm not sure. Then Flying Sparks, Emily, she's doing the narrating. You know, she's doing her thing up there. So they're having fun. Joe's there. Greg Speed Shop. That's who I was gonna stay with if I'd have went, but you know, I'm still here.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Emily. Yeah, she's narrating. Where are they from? Are they down there, down south?
No, they're Midwest somewhere. I can't remember.
For some reason, I thought they were near Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah, it might be somewhere in that area. Yep.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot. They're getting a lot done.
Because I know what's it called. They fly and they got a boat now because they were doing like a boat restore thing.
Yeah, RVs. They're doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah. God bless them.
Yeah, they're getting it done.
Look, Coach Isaac, man, what's up with the hat? I love it.
I've been in the heat all day working on my house AC. It's 110 degrees here, and
in the house.
outside.
Okay.
This is what you wear to keep the sun off of you.
Okay.
But
Isaac, put the glasses back on to make it to complete the scene here.
Right when I got it done, right before I signed on, I got it done, got it going, checked that it was blowing cool, and the house is right as I was signing on, the house was at 93 degrees.
Wow.
It's been a warm one.
What was that movie with the guy from MASH, Jamie Farr, when he was
Cannonball.
This is for you and the judge. That's who he looks like.
That was the Cannonball Run.
Too much couscous.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Judge. Go to the judge.
You know, Jamie Farr, he's really Lebanese too.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Something, but yeah, he's still alive.
He must be like one of the last MASH actors.
I think he is. I think that because Alan Alda's still alive.
Okay. All right.
This is
for you and the judge.
All right. So, what was your favorite car movie back in the day?
Oh,
Anybody?
man, I couldn't pick one.
Man, I couldn't pick one.
It's hard. Smokey and the Bandit.
Agreed.
I want to say Smokey and the Bandit too.
That's one of them.
That's in the top 20.
Hooper.
That's also
I
in the
just
top
ordered
20.
that DVD, Terry. Just ordered it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hooper. Love Hooper.
Yeah.
The movie Hot Rod.
Yes, that's a very good movie too. I have a copy of that on VHS tape.
Yeah, you got American Graffiti. That's always a classic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood Nights.
Yes,
Fast
Hollywood
and
Nights.
Furious.
Yep.
Dazed and Confused.
There you go. Dazed and Confused. There you
Oh
go.
yeah,
There you
Dazed and Confused.
That's a small town on steroids. No place had that many hot rods, but there's a lot. There's all kinds of stuff in that.
You know, my older daughter loves that movie, and I told her, all right, just to put it in context, the kids that were becoming seniors that year, I was 1 year older than them.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow. Dude, I'm like, yeah, we did all of that and more. Forget about it.
Yeah, because that was like 76, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even for Hollywood, this is a little extreme. In the movie Hot Rod, he loses everything when he wrecks the car, and they tell him that there's a thrift store in town. So he walks into the depressed community thrift store and walks out wearing a brand new Moon Eyes t-shirt. Where do you find a Moon Eyes t-shirt at a thrift store? Come on.
Moon
Yeah.
Eyes, yes. Would Corvette Summers classify as a car movie?
Yes.
Which one?
Corvette Summers.
Corvette Summer.
Gone in 60 Seconds, the original.
I can
Yeah. I like the new
Gone
one
in
too.
60 Seconds.
I like the new one too.
The new one was
That-
good too.
Fast and Furious #1. That was the only one. Maybe
Here we
Tokyo
go,
Drift.
Paul.
I like number 2.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
There
I
you
like
go.
number 2 with Tyrese.
On VHS.
Damn.
I got
Once
the
they start-
director's cut on DVD too.
Once they start busting through mountains and driving through mountains, and,
Sending
Yeah.
Fieros into space. And all that
yeah,
stuff.
they went a little crazy now.
Leave that to the American Gas and Hot Rod shop. They'll do all the cars in the space bit.
We'll do what we can.
You do. You guys do it well too.
All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Get a really
All
good
right,
work.
Paul.
Thanks for having me
Yeah.
on.
Hey, thanks
We'll
for
see you next week, and I'll try to do some Facebook Live from the racetrack on Saturday.
Ooh,
Okay,
yes.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Stay safe, bro.
All right, thanks, man.
Take care,
All right,
Paul.
we'll see you.
Take care, Paul.
Oh yeah.
Days of Thunder, that's another good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You know what else? What's the one with Richard Pryor, Moonshine? What movie was
Grease Lightning.
Grease
that?
Lightning.
Yeah.
Grease Lightning. Yeah, that's Wendell Scott's story. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, Terry. Just the other day on YouTube, in my feed, something popped up about car movies, whatever, and they were talking about Hooper and how good it was, and they showed a lot of clips. I was like, you know what? Yeah, it kind of got past me. So I was ordering stuff yesterday from Amazon. I said, you know what? Put Hooper in there. I want
Put
that
Hooper in
movie.
there. Yeah.
And they said that the stuntmen reviewed it and said that movie was so true to form with the stunts they did that it was, and they did one of the longest jumps on film. It was like 300 something feet in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
It was a car that looked like it was made to look like this, like the red Trans Am,
They made it look like a
Actually,
Trans Am, but
an old
you could-
jet car.
yeah, but you could definitely see when it went off that ramp that's
Yeah.
not.
It
Was there a driver in there?
There was, and that was the stuntman. I forget his name. He went 300 some odd feet. The car was totaled after that, but he got the longest jump on record for that.
Wow.
That's
So I had to
crazy.
order that movie. I said, I gotta get this. I gotta see it.
To go 300 and something yards in the air, how fast was he? How fast was he going? He had to hit that thing about close to 200.
I do know that from hanging out with the guy Tom Sarmento, the Dukes of Hazzard stuntman that I'm friends with. They did some crazy jumps too, some pretty long stuff. And it's all about, of course, it's all about speed, but it's all about the ramp. The ramp
angle.
and the ballast in the car. Like with those Chargers, they had sometimes up to 300 pounds of ballast in the trunk to keep that car level, to keep the attitude level, or else it would have done this.
Nosedive, yeah.
So there's a whole science behind it. But those guys, they're pros. They know their stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, because that makes a mess when you land.
Yeah.
I did that in my fastback. That was like 47 feet that I flew, and when I landed, the shock came through the hood. So
How did you jump 47 feet?
well, back in the place, there's a road where it was a quarter mile straight, but it had a nasty turn at the end, so we really couldn't race on it because it got kind of scary when you had to try to make that turn.
Yeah.
But it had a little oop-de-doo, and I hit it about 65 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and shifted into fourth in air. And
I'll help you.
and when the car landed, the shock came up through the hood of the car.
Well, all due respect to all you Ford owners, the one car I would never jump, and I wouldn't jump any car, would be a Ford. Just the suspension value.
We had to limp it home, limp it over to a buddy's house and use the 5-pound mallet and banged around on everything to get it back.
That's all you have.
That poor car. Thank God it can't talk.
Yeah.
So, but if you ever look at a Mustang, and you would know too, Ray, because you've seen. But you know how the shock tower comes up, and they had that little bracket that the shocks bolted onto. Well, I ripped all that right on out. I mean, there was nothing left.
That would have been nice on the last Mustang I worked at that I had to change the shocks on because all those bolts were like rusted and stripped and wouldn't come out. I had to cut them all out.
Yeah. So that was we pasted off. I'd flattened the headers. The header on the passenger side, I'd completely flattened out and crunched the oil pan. The oil pan came up around the pickup tube. Boy, that was a hell of a.
You did it good.
So, of course, we had to get ready to go to school the next day. So we spent the night pulling everything down and beating the snot out of it with a hammer.
That's what a lot of the younger guys don't get. That, we would do all-nighters at the drop of a hat just because we had to use the car the next day.
Yeah.
I was working on a friend's car today, and it was kind of funny because he wanted to connect the battery to start the car, and brand new battery, everything was new, and he put the terminal on the top, and he took a hammer and he was tapping it on. So let me tell you a funny story about that. I said, my friend that used to work at a tire shop, I used to get my used tires and batteries from him. I had his car at my house for some reason, and it was back in the 70s. We had really, really cold winters. I mean,
yeah,
maybe because we weren't outside or garage. No, they were cold.
It's global warming. That's why now.
I was working on his Torino. He had a Torino with a 428 in it, and I did whatever I had to do. I don't even remember what the hell. I remember I had to do something underneath. Maybe it was a starter because that one header tube had a disconnect for the Centerlink to go through it on those cars. I remember doing that. So he brings over a new battery and left it while I was at work. So I got home that night. I put the battery in. And again, it's probably like 13 degrees outside. And the terminal end didn't want to go on. So I just tapped it and sent the post straight through the battery. So I told my friend today, good thing it's not 13 degrees in this garage. But it's a funny story about, he remembers it to this day. He brings it up. Remember the time you sent my battery post through the Yeah, I remember. You got a new one. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you replaced it.
He worked.
What's up, Parker?
Everyone says hello. Say hi. Get on the floor. Say hello. Oh, get off the floor and say hello like a man. Come on.
See, cat's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, time for me to bill.
All right,
Have
have
a
a
good
good week, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I gotta head to bed too. This rainy weather, man, got me tired.
Oh, you still got rain over by you?
Yeah, it just rained just a few minutes ago. We're sending it over. Don't worry, it's coming.
We've had rain on and off too.
Yeah, keep it over there. Keep it over there.
No, I'm gonna send it over to you guys.
It's bad enough you're wet from sweating,
Hey,
and then you get all wet from the rain. I mean, you just never dry out. I hate this time of the year. Or I hate
Brian,
this
what's the
moment.
percentage of your
Send it
shops
my
that
way.
are-
Our monsoons haven't started yet.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can take it.
What's the percentage of your shops, Brian, that are cool or cooler than outside?
Probably 10%.
Oh wow, that sucks. Those
Yeah,
guys they're not spending any money, are they?
No, they're miserable. Actually, the hardest part, because they want to come out, and I'm not gonna lie, the tool truck is 47 degrees in the back.
Yeah.
I actually got guys, they come out and they say, dude, I get a headache when I come in here. That's
Right.
how, I mean.
Well, yeah, then they got to go back into that heat.
So I kind of hurt myself on that. Some guys don't even want to come out to the truck, but there are some guys. I had a guy at my last stop, and I was like, I almost skipped it because I knew they were closing up, getting ready to go, but I stopped. Guy came out, and the guy literally comes out, gets into the truck, and lays on the floor. And I'm like, hey, dude, what are you
home
doing?
with you, tool man?
And I said, dude, buying something today? He goes, no, I just want to sit here. And I said, I got to get going, dude. Get the,
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Stay here. Get the F out of here.
Yeah, comes in and lay, and I mean,
that's funny.
He's not a tall guy, but he's very wide. So I mean, and I was like,
hey, don't be discriminating against wide guys now.
Yeah, aerodynamically challenged, man. Come on.
Well, I'm like, let's get going. He goes, man, it's really nice in here, and lays out on the floor, and I'm like, there's like he's in a body shop, so he's got that body dust outline. It looks like a chalk line of a dead body in the truck, I'm like, oh God.
So
If
Brian,
you're
I
gonna
went
move, you're
to
gonna need that truck line.
Yeah. Brian, I went to Target today with the grandkids.
Yeah.
Look what I found.
Whoa.
Yep.
El Camino.
El Camino Star Wars set.
So yeah, it's a set of 5.
Yep.
Brian,
they
show
had
what
2
you
of
got
them there.
Well, today, when I was at Target,
Got that tablecloth.
Ooh.
Yeah. Want to have a picnic?
So Brian, should I buy the whole set?
well, no, I mean,
Can't hurt.
it doesn't hurt, but the bottom line is buy what you like. Because you get a whole bunch of stuff and you look at it later, like, why did I buy this? But I did get, this is 55 210.
That's cool.
Ooh, a giant lightning.
And this is
4-door, right? That's a 4-door?
no, 2-door.
Is it 2? Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I got the they do 2 series of, they do A and a B release, and then this was the I found the 55 210.
That's 210. Okay, I would have thought that was a 150. So the one you didn't get was the 56.
Well, they didn't have it. This was the set that came out. On this set here was a you had an 89. Actually, I put this one back, and I should have got it. 89 IROC Z28. They had a black one and a red one. The black one was absolutely stunning. Then they had the 55 210 and the 67 Pontiac Goat.
Nice.
So
Terry, I tell you, there's a guy I started following. He's in Ohio, in fact, in Cleveland. Dan's Hot Rod Garage. He's got a 55 convertible.
Oh yeah, you sent me a link to that with all those 50. He had a whole handful of that stuff.
55 convertible, 2 55 Nomads, a 57 Nomad, and a 56 Nomad that he just got back from his brother that was in the family. And I tell you, there's
what kind of shape are these Nomads in?
That I actually really like.
Yeah, what Nomad? What kind of shape these Nomads in?
They're all driver quality.
They're all beautiful.
But they're all driver quality cars. not perfect and not show cars, but so he can use all of them and enjoy them.
And then also today, I picked up a Fast and Furious set. Okay. Well, the bottom line is, see this car?
Yeah.
No. There we go.
Well, this car is supposed to be Brian's Toyota.
Ah.
So this was packaged wrong.
Mistake.
This is
Oh.
So, because it says right on the side, it tells you the car's on the side. See, it was supposed to be this car.
Oh, yeah.
And on the side, it says Fast and Furious Toyota Supra. Well, that's not a Toyota Supra.
No.
What is that, a McLaren?
That's what it looks like. So,
Wow. So that might be.
that's a error card there. And there was actually two of them. I got one for a buddy of mine. And then this is the hottest set right now. It's a package of Nissans.
I seen that one today.
Yeah, this is only one in the case, and everybody's going goo-goo over this.
And like a good American car lover, Lewis, you walk right on by.
Yep.
Do they have the S14 in that Nissan group?
I have no idea. I know they have.
Don't go speaking in code now.
Yeah, I know you're talking about shit that I don't know. You have a Datsun 620 pickup, a Nissan Fairlady, or the Sylvia S13. Yeah, you said S13.
14.
No, and then they have a GTR 32 and a Skyline GT HT 2000 GTX.
That GTR, man, that's a fast car.
Sure is.
So I sent Ray this. So earlier today, I picked up this. See, it's a Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was at my last shop,
that's crazy.
When I was at my last shop of the day, where the guy came in and laid on the floor, they had.
Well, you guys.
This was in the parking lot.
Lay on the floor.
Was that a Lotus? Oh,
no, it's the Mustang. It's this Mustang.
Oh, okay.
With instead of a white stripe, it had a black stripe.
So it was funny because Brian sends me the pictures of those 55s, and I said, "Wow, that's kind of funny." I worked on my friend's 57 Chevy today. The real one, though.
Yeah.
So, and then he had the Mustang thing. I'm like, that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Kismet.
So this thing obviously must have gotten away from the guy because it's missing the front and the back of the car. That's a typical Mustang driver. Right, slingshot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mine wasn't fast enough to get in any trouble.
Mine was. I mean, mine wasn't either, but I got in a lot of trouble with mine. So
they do get away
Your
from
Mustang
me.
was a little faster than mine.
But that I should. I'm tomorrow. I want to go back and see if that IROC is there.
I thought you were going to go back and see if that Mustang was for sale.
See if the Mustang is for sale. No. That's. See,
I'd like to get a Fox body. If I come across one, I'd like to get it.
Yeah, those are going up.
So that was the IROC.
Yeah, those are ridiculous.
What year? Yeah. What?
89.
89. Okay.
I had an 88.
Well, I wish I still
82.
had my Fox body. I had two of them, and I wish I had both of them still. But one got hit head on and totaled. That was my convertible. That one didn't survive. And my we're still alive, so I can't talk about the other one. So
yeah, I'll tell you what. Like you said, they're going up in price, man. You could have got them, $2-3 grand all day, but now.
Oh yeah.
And the problem is you can't find. If you find one that's not been hacked to no end, or just beating the snot out of, where it's going to cost you $1 million, they still want an arm and a leg for them.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, I pass one every day. It's a convertible, and it needs all redone, the whole thing. But the body seems pretty solid.
What's it? Now you're looking for a restoration project.
No. I just pass it every day, and I'm like, man, this guy looking the
Oh,
wrong
that's
way.
what I mean, like with those cars, the only way you can afford them is if it's a restoration project, not a
Yeah.
You know, a
But
nice
people don't sell them. They, man, you go in somebody's yard, they'll cuss you out.
Right.
Yep.
The guy
I'd
that
like-
bought mine's down outside of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm not allowed in that state because Jenny's afraid because I have the valet key that I'm going to bring it home. I'm not allowed to go with him to Florida.
That's funny.
Plus, you got to work. Someone's got to stay home and work.
And take care of my puppies. Look at you guys.
Somebody's got to work.
So your girls
I'd
have been
like
gone for what, 2 weeks?
Yep.
Man, must be nice.
It's not my problem. They make the big money.
Yeah. Nice. Well,
Gentlemen,
I'd like to
Fade.
get my hands on a. I'd like to get my hands on a third gen, Camaro, and I had the '82 Z28, but I'd like to get like that '89 IROC or something like the real thing. But same like the Mustangs, the price is going up on them. Everybody wants a ton for them.
So that's the message right there, Isaac. Concentrate on something that you already have.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking dreams.
You know, all the '80s.
That sun, that heat.
See, but you gotta transfer the dream talk into talk about something tangible, and not only will it be a better conversation, but you'll be getting stuff done that you can appreciate later on.
That's true.
Even the dog ear Camaros, like the 74s, the 77s, man. Put it this way, there are no dog ears at this point.
No more.
There are no dog ears. No.
Terry, when you
They're
come to
all
Youngstown, I'm gonna take you over to my buddy's shop, man. He has, man, I bet he has 15 Camaros and Trans Ams in the 70s, early 80s.
Where? In his yard?
Yeah.
And he's not doing anything with them?
Well, he's building them one at a time, but he has.
Yeah. Bring some money, Terry.
I'm gonna get one.
He has. I might get this Cutlass off him. He has a Hearst Cutlass, a 77.
Oh, 77.
Yeah, with
My
T-top.
dad had one of them.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I like those cars.
That whole 77 fleet back then, 77, 78, 76, even 74, 73 Regals, those were some nice cars.
Yeah. They're high too. The 80s, early 80s, Regals, Cutlasses, they're all high.
Yeah.
Like the Grand Prix are like, even the small year Grand Prix like 60, 69, 70, 71, 72. You can't touch them. But the 73s on up, they're not bad looking cars. I always like those cars.
I'll take a picture of it tomorrow at one of my shops. I don't know what year it is because it's a Grand Prix, but it's got a funny front end on it. I guess that's like
Euro nose.
Got those funny.
That's probably got the flush lights. That's the Euro nose.
Yeah, it's weird looking,
You could have
dude.
got a Monte Carlo too, and guys go nuts over that.
Yeah, like the 76. 76, they went from the round headlight to like the 4 square, I think it is.
Yeah, but this is later. These are the later ones.
This is like early 70s.
Oh, early 70s.
Oh, it has those the turn signals with the round with the cross in them.
I think so, but the headlights and the grill's like the car's flat, but the grill's like sticking out. You know what I'm saying? And it has the headlights. I'll send you a picture.
Is it a long car or is it a short car?
It's
the front end's long.
It's long. It's got a 455. Is that right? Would that be right in the Pontiac?
Yeah, that would be right.
Oh, wait,
That's the one where the grill sticks out looking like a beak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird looking, but they've been messing with that car. They were playing with the carburetor, and I said, I know a guy that'll probably come down and fix it.
Yeah, I want to come down that way anyway. All right,
let's see if we can find it.
I have to shut this off.
Here it is.
That is a 70 to 72 Monte Carlo. See, it's got the round headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Pontiac? Is that a Pontiac?
No, that's a Monte Carlo. But
that's a Monte Carlo, but Lewis has got a Pontiac.
Yeah, 72 Grand
okay,
Prix.
that's a Grand Prix, yeah.
Yeah, 72 or 7. I don't know, because he said something that was like one. He goes, yeah, those aren't very popular. It's like 1 year with that front end. No, it's not that front end.
No.
What's that one,
That's
Lou?
like
I mean,
a
what's
75, I think, what you got there.
This is 72.
That's
yeah. I'll take a picture of it tomorrow and send it out
Justin,
because
you got
it's.
something?
I don't have nothing. I we're on my phone. My computer's dead, so
They got
we're
a
on my
different
phone.
one that has the funny fog light.
76.
That's
Yeah, that's too new.
right. That's got the big lights,
It's got the 4, right? That's 4 lights.
the rectangular lights.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know
this-
I know what you're talking about.
This is a round. This is that one round light, but it's like,
I bet
dude,
you
it's
this is
just
it.
so. Every time I look at that car, I'm like, God,
No,
it's
wait,
a
you said
ugly
no, wait,
looking
man.
car.
You said it was a Grand Prix.
Huh?
You said Grand Prix.
I think it's
Yeah.
Grand Prix, Pontiac
Oh,
Grand
that's
Prix.
early 70s, up to
Yeah.
early to mid 70s, and it had the split grills like Pontiac always had.
But the grill looks so funny because it's like sticking out. It's like the grill's like so
Watch
sticking
this.
out.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. 68.
Yeah,
No.
my choice. The best.
I like that.
Is that a Firebird?
No, that's Grand Prix.
Yeah.
That's the Goodfellas Grand Prix. That's the one he drove in Goodfellas.
Why do they drive an overgrown Firebird?
That's what it look like.
Cool car.
I know. I want to get hate mail now. We got to get off. We can't be on this live. I get in trouble.
Does it got dual headlights?
No, but that's
That's
like
early.
that, but like that with just single light.
But
That's
there's
a
that.
70.
Yeah, that's a 70 right here.
All right, Brian, you're causing too much work and trouble here now.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll just make it. Don't worry. I'll be there tomorrow morning. And I'll take a picture. It'll probably be gone now. It's been sitting there for the last 8 months.
They're gonna pull an
And
all-nighter
it's
and
got
fix it
probably
tonight.
got a quadrojet on it, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it has the algae syndrome because it's been sitting with the.
Yeah.
You keep showing side photos. I need the front.
Okay,
Well,
hold on a second.
you can see the nose.
Yeah.
Here you
It's
But it
go.
got a
looks
beak.
funny.
The nose is a beak.
But the grill's one piece.
Oh,
It's
No,
not
they were always
split.
They were always split. Pontiac.
Yeah, Pontiac always had the split.
grill. Right.
This
always.
is. I swear to God, it's one piece. Looks like a Rolls Royce hood on it. I mean, it
they
looks like a
put-
Rolls
maybe they
Royce
did
grill.
like a custom grill or something on it.
I'll send you a picture, Rick. But I think it
Alright,
has the
maybe-
algae
Rolls Royce.
syndrome. I think
They
it's.
used to
Maybe
sell those Rolls
maybe
Royce
it is a
grills.
Rolls Royce.
They used
It
to
only
sell
has
Rolls Royce
something.
grill
It
conversions.
only has something like 58,000 miles on it. It's been sitting in this guy's garage. They just dug it out.
Wow.
Whatever it is, it's a Grand Prix 48,000 miles on. That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
got some. It's got a boat. It's got a tugboat motor, the 455 or 447 or
Come
whatever.
on now, Brian.
So if that's the case, that eliminates like from 78. That, actually 72 because like they start putting 400s in them when they change that body style. You might have got one or two that might have got snuck through with a 455.
Yeah, it's got a big. It's got a. I'll take a picture and put it on. I'll put it on, and then you guys can give me more trouble because it probably does have a split grill in it. But I swear to God, it looks like one big
Monster.
grill.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Well, once again, brothers, I'm gonna head off.
All right.
All right, fellas.
Take care, Terry.
All right, Terry. I'll call you this week.
I'll be around, man. All right, take care, gentlemen.
All right.
You too. Be safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off too.
All right.
You guys,
All right.
It hurt.
you guys have a good week. Keep an eye on me because I might throw some paint if I get a day off. of
All
rain.
right.
buddy.
All righty.
You sure? You got
Yeah.
what's your 7-day outlook looking like? So I know what
I
my
don't
weather's
know.
going to be like.
I don't know. I gotta check it. But if I get 2 days straight, man, I'm shooting it.
Yeah. I
Well,
got
send that rain down
a
here, and then you'll have time to shoot it.
You
Do
can
what?
Have it.
Send that rain down here, and then you'll have that time to shoot it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it.
We need it. I need it. After being out there all day today, I need it.
I might be good tomorrow and Saturday, but it's supposed to rain Sunday.
Hmm.
But see, I got to do it early in the morning before the bugs get up. You know what I mean? When you shoot outside, you got to beat the bugs.
Right.
Yeah, I can beat the bugs.
Yeah. So I got to work tomorrow. So Saturday is my only day. 16% cloudy. I might be able to slip it in.
Yeah, you gotta be a double pistol, man. You just gotta be holding on like this, man.
Yeah.
We'll put you on a skateboard, and you have your wife push you up and down the length of the school bus.
What I might do is at least get it in primer.
Yeah.
If I can get it all primer, then I can just wait on another day. Monday looks like
Are you priming it gray or black?
gray.
Gray.
So Monday and Tuesday looks pretty good.
Looks like you're coming down with something.
Yeah. I'm getting kind of graspy.
Yeah, you sound a little graspy and got sniffle, I think, right?
Yep.
You
Allergy.
take a couple days off.
Yeah.
Gonna have to.
Too bad you can't use COVID for an excuse anymore.
Yeah. I ain't feeling good. I gotta wear this respirator.
Yeah, all you gotta do is walk in with a mask and they send you home, right? But not anymore.
Nope.
Wait,
All right,
just tell
fellas,
me
you
what
have a good
test
week,
result.
and everybody stay safe.
You
All
got
right,
it, Lewis.
let's take it easy.
You too. Be safe.
All right, later.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
So Ray, did you watch Adam 12 the other day? When Pete raced the chopper guy, the motorcycle guy.
Oh yeah, Dirt Duel, yeah.
Now wasn't that the guy from the Monkees?
Mickey Dolenz, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You probably would have thought I was crazy because I took a picture of it. I was on set. I said, "Isn't this the Monkees, dude?"
Yeah, it's Mickey Dolenz.
I'm just glad the dogs looked at me like I was crazy because I'm taking pictures of the TV. You know, the dogs are like, "What the F is this guy doing?"
I do that.
He was in Mickey Dolenz was in Smokey and the Bandit too.
Oh yeah.
The first Smokey and the Bandit. 2 is in also. But you know
Not
where they
two
have
is in the
that?
second one.
Yeah, not 2 is in the second
Yes,
one.
yeah. I took a
You know
picture. What happened?
Not that you did.
You know where they have the convoy, and
Oh yeah.
he says, "I'm going to slip right into the rocking chair."
Right.
And as they're showing all the different truck drivers and they're honking and giving thumbs up, Mickey Dolenz is one of them.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So I was like,
Yeah, all those tough chopper riders on those Triumphs, the 2-cylinder Triumphs.
I said, man, I send Ray this picture. He's going to think I lost my mind.
Oh, you're right. You're 100% right.
And who was the dude that was the head chopper guy? He looks like, who was that guy?
Adam Rourke. And he played in like almost every biker movie back then. He was always, one of the bikers. Yeah, he was in everything. Look him up. He's got credits out the ass.
And then this was yesterday's dinner. This was Ray said I was going hungry. No, I ate really good.
Steak?
I was fajitas.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had onions, sweet peppers, nice slab of steak on my Mako cutting board with my knife.
That's nice.
And the habanero sauce.
Tonight we had Linda made a shish kebabs with chicken sausage, yellow, green, and red pepper, red onions, and they made like pearl, like the small round potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Man, that was a good shish kebab, and then made some rice and corn. It's good shish kebab. Good stuff.
And then the other night, I stopped by, and there was the Chevy Love.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that
it's got stacks coming out of the hood. Look at that.
Yeah, that is from 2012.
Oh, okay.
And it was sitting on the shelf.
Wow. Maybe somebody returned it.
Actually, this one was 15. I'm sorry, because this was new for 2016. there was another one I found that was 2012. So either they cleaned out the storage room and found some stuff laying around.
Nice. You need to take a part-time job there.
Well,
I just want to work in a storeroom. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is people try that, but they
Make them work.
Well, no. If they find out that's what you're doing there, it doesn't go over very well.
I can see that.
So,
hey, so the word was coming in, filtering in through the week. I just got another compliment for you today. Like, hey, man, Brian did a great job on Sunday with you.
oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of people have been commenting, saying how much they like the show, how good of a job he did. And I said, yeah, man, he's a pro. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. It went over well. You did good.
Yeah, I was a little. Well, not that I'll anytime, Ray, anytime. All I gotta do is call. But I was like, God, I really wish I had something for bottom of the hour. And I'm like thinking of all, like when we started, you're talking, and I'm like, okay, pay attention, and I'm like thinking of stuff like, where can I, but like you said, it goes really fast.
Well, Chris and I we caught up during the week on stuff, and we were talking about that because he heard part of the show. He liked it, and I said, I realized it as I'm going into the bottom of the hour and getting all my stuff ready. Like, oh crap, yeah, Chris does the bottom of the hour, and I thought, okay, let's do it. That's why if you throw it to you. But I told Chris, I said, I didn't expect Brian to have anything. I really didn't. I said, if he would have prepared something, he would have surprised me.
Right.
I said, but then that's when like your training kicks in. And I didn't have anything either. But what I thought of the most obvious thing, it'll always work. Hey, bottom of the hour, you're in the outer group of the hour. If you shop on a tool truck, like
right.
that was like a given,
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, that was a gimme.
So, you don't have to. The point is, I think, Brian, the problem is you overthink it.
No, I do. And that's what I told myself right before I said, Brian, just go with the flow. You're so much better on the shooting from the hip than actually. Because I was like,
come up with that, guys.
I was like,
shop on tool trucks.
I'm like going to start writing stuff down. So
actually, it would have been even better if you said something like, guys who come on tool trucks and make their payments. That would have been even better. So yeah, that's all just
guys who come on tool trucks and lay down.
Yeah, right.
On the cold floor.
That's funny.
So, but like I said, any time I'm always ready. It's like I said, I like I said, I enjoy it and I have fun. I just, like I said.
Well, and when and I'll tell you, when I asked you if you wanted to pick music and you didn't come up with nothing, I already I got to play Mustang Sally. I got to play I should have introduced it as Mustang Matco or Matco Mustang.
Yeah.
But I lost on that one. Again, it's like don't overthink it. Go with the obvious, because it's going to be more people will get it.
Right.
You don't be kind of like so oblique that people don't understand it because then they think you're a pompous ass. So just make it obvious, make it overt. It's funny, and you move on.
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah. No real secrets.
And that Rob guy is a big guy.
Oh yeah, Rob is. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, I said, Ray's going to text me before, and I just went ahead and logged in because actually I had problems. It didn't highlight it. I had to copy and paste.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I'm just glad I was able to figure it out because anything with a computer I'm really bad at.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'll just because I went right in. I didn't wait, because you said that you'd put me on, and I was like, well, I'm here now, so I'll just sit here. And I figured Rob probably get pissed if I yelled out real loud. I took myself off my.
Well, no, because when I start that computer, actually, I have to log in to a computer that's behind me, and then on that Mac. Well, you don't see the Mac. I have to actually join my own meeting, and that's the one that you come in on. So when I joined the meeting, then I saw just the Matco Man logo. I said, okay, Brian already logged in. Cool. But I immediately have to mute that computer because if I don't, it'll feed back through the board.
Oh.
That's what I learned early on. So
Yeah.
And without that pot being brought up and selected, there's no audio on that from that computer either. So
Yeah.
a lot of stupid little things you got to remember to do in this. I wish I had an engineer to do it, to do some of it, to give me the freedom to pay attention to what I have to do.
Yeah, you are kind of running around
Yeah.
in circles. Yeah. So no, it was good. I like I said, and it was funny because because the let's see, that was so Saturday.
It was Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday. I was talking to my mom, and I almost said something, but I said I don't need my mom to call in. She goes, "Oh, I want to call in. I just
that would have been great." She probably would have made the Mother's Day show too. That would have made the Mother's Day show.
She goes, I'll call in and tell Ray all the things about you.
What is she going to surprise me?
Well, you know, Mom.
Oh, really, Mrs. Macco? Oh, yeah, really? Did Brian do that? Yeah. No, he didn't do that, did he?
So
I'll tell you a boneheaded move I made this week. I was going to use it as a show topic, but Sunday in the afternoon, my brother and sister-in-law were up from Florida, so we're going to meet them for dinner out at some place. So my daughter took the cruise, so we took the FJ. So I got the AC on, and our truck's it's got great AC.
yeah.
It wasn't coming out of my center vents. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So on the way home, I was telling Linda, I said, I bet you I probably got a stuck blend door or something. And she goes, well, what's that? I said, well, it's a little door in there that when you select where you want the air to come from, it diverts it. So I banged on the top of the dash. She goes, what did you do that for? I said, I'm trying to unstick the blend door. I said, believe it or not, that works a lot of times. I said, I don't want to have to go in there because it always sucks.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got almost all the way home and then I realized what the problem was. Because I know what it was. I saw like a slight bit of like fog on the windshield. So some of it was bleeding through the defroster vent. So I said, I switched it to full defrost. I said, okay. And it actually cleared that. And I felt it cold air. And I said, sometimes when you switch, it'll actually, free up the door also. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling air coming at me. I'm like, oh, it worked. No, originally, I had the knob all the way down on floor vent. I didn't have it on dash.
Oh,
it's like, you idiot. Well, I was talking to my buddy Kevin today, who came with me to work on this 57. I told him the story. And I said, the problem is, I said, we're blessed with having too many cars because I don't drive any one of them enough to, like, you always had that muscle memory of where everything is and how everything works. But when you drive too many cars, you kind of forget after a while.
Yeah.
What's what? I said, and that's what it was.
Or even the little idiotic things, or this noise, because that's with me driving everybody's car. I'll get in it and I'm like, what's that buzzing noise? Then it's like, oh, well, that's normal. That's the the blower motor or whatever.
Right.
And those are like I said, Brianna will say, well, that noise has always been there. Is there a problem now? And I was like, no, if it's always been there, because it's like, that doesn't sound right.
That's why I always told the kids, like, you got to tell me when something happens in your car because I don't drive it all the time and I'm not going to know. But here's a question, drivability for Justin. Justin, have you done much of any kind of tuning on the snipers?
A little bit.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I need to decrease the amount of fuel on decel because what's happened is I'm getting popping, actually a little bit of backfiring and popping through the mufflers. And I know it is. It's too rich on decel. And I did watch a Holly video where they showed, one guy said, yeah, you should take like 80% of the fuel out under like 1,000 RPM, and that'll solve it. But I didn't see, I was playing with the handheld in the fuel, in tuning and advanced tuning, and I didn't see it, although I thought I saw it once before. So the question is do you know if you can do that through the handheld, or is that something that's laptop only?
That might be a laptop thing. I haven't messed much with the laptop stuff, but one of my coworkers, he's done it a few times.
Okay.
On his own stuff. He's got the laptop, and everything there. Yeah, I don't know if there is an option on the handheld to get that far into it.
Yeah, there is fuel, but I didn't see it today when I looked. And okay, because I gotta solve that. I gotta knock that out. It's too much fuel. But
Yeah, and I don't even have one I can go look at tomorrow.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I was playing with it today and I didn't see it, but I always get tripped up in the handheld. Like, what tab did I just push? Which one was I on? Like, shit.
It's pretty easy to get yourself lost in there.
Yeah. But you get back to where you were, pretty easy. So, all right. But yeah. So what do you guys got going on up there? What's new? I haven't been on looking at social media in the last couple of days. Sometimes I just got to stay away from it. Just.
Yeah, I've actually kind of done the same thing.
I got stuff I got to post still from North Carolina that I haven't done. I'm behind on a couple of big posts. So.
Right. Yeah. We're shipping some cars, getting a lot of small jobs done. I'm working on that 62 Impala that we did the LS swap and the suspension and whatnot. Just fabbed an air intake and hooking up wiring, mounting this, doing that.
Such a cool car.
It's getting really excited.
Yeah.
It's really come together.
That's a nice car.
So, yeah. I mean, we did quite a bit of stuff. The PT Cruiser left this week. That was cool. So they're happy with it. Good. Came down, drove it home.
Nice.
Picked up a couple more Willys builds.
Oh, really?
Wow. Building a couple gassers. We got one.
How mild or wild are they going to be?
The one is basically going to be a driver. He's got like an old DeSoto Hemi for it. I want to say he's out of Maryland, actually. Steel body car. We're going to put it on one of our chassis. And yeah, just drive it. He wants something he can hop in coast to coast. And the other one.
So he's putting a 352 in it.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the old one.
Yeah, he's got it sitting there. It's pretty cool. That's going to be a nice car. And then the other one, it's going to be another full build for a guy out of Washington. That one's going to get a Hillborn injected blown Hemi, and it's going to be a pretty wild ride.
Nice. Now using the one, the EFI style Hillborn?
I'm not sure what he's going with.
Okay.
I haven't got that far into it yet.
Okay. I mean, because for a guy to drive a mechanical injected motor these days, you got to really know what you're in for.
Right.
No.
Ray, you have a different camera angle.
Yeah, well, it's a different camera.
Yeah, you're showing more. Before it was just the sun.
Oh, you can see some of the hidden junk.
Yeah, in your library.
Man, there's hidden junk everywhere. You say I got all my there's hidden junk. There's hidden junk back there. There's hidden junk everywhere. Yeah. You think you got the market cornered? No. I go junk with anybody.
Pull stuff quick.
What's that?
That's how you're always able to pull stuff quick.
Well, not from back there. I became like the dead zone because once I put the banner up, I haven't gone back there for anything. Yeah, stuff's all over the place. Gone in 60 seconds on VHS. I have Hot Rod too. I got a copy of Hot Rod. I just couldn't find it.
Nice.
That's a cool movie. Paul was talking about that. That's a really. I'm trying to remember who the guy was that was in it. I was gonna say Nick Nolte. I don't know. Somebody look it up. It was a guy like with long hair. He rolls into town and he's doing like a match race and he's got a funny car and he ends up, I think, lunching it and yeah, there was all sorts of like sabotage going on and stuff. It was really back in the day and I forget whose car they used. At the end, the car catches on fire and blows up. They used a real race team's car in the movie, so pretty authentic. But I forget who the guy was. I think it was like the movie's early 70s.
Early 70s?
Yeah. Right in the heat of the early funny car stuff. The flip top body stuff.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it was a Burt Reynolds movie. He had that 55 Oldsmobile.
Oh, I don't don't know that one.
black. It was black and gold, and he had to burn. He burnt it at the end of the movie because the cops were. I mean, what was the name of that?
Don't remember.
I love that. That car was beautiful.
55 Olds is a nice car. 55 Buick. That's another car I got. I got two other jobs to do. I did the 57 Chevy today, but I got to go to my buddy's house and get his wipers working on his 69 big block Corvette. That's going to be interesting. He doesn't know what goes where, and I said to him, the easiest way to see, I said, you got to see if that motor's working. I said, you got to get a power probe. We'll power probe it. Well, I'll know if it works. And then another buddy, he's got a bunch of 442s. Him and his friend in the club bought a 65 442 convertible. They're desirable because they're the first year. And they're going to flip it. But it's got an engine noise. And he wants another ears on the engine noise. So I got to go check that out, too.
What were we looking up on the Hot Rod movie?
Who was in it?
Pernell Roberts, Greg Henry, Robin Matson, Grant Goodeve, Robert Culp, Royce Applegate, Topo Swope, Ed Begley Jr.
Ed Begley. Yeah, that's what the blonde guy. That's what I was thinking was Ed Begley. Does it have a little synopsis of the movie?
I pulled it up on IMDb. It says at the top, a drag racer enters a local championship race. However, he runs up against the town boss, a corrupt sheriff, who has already made arrangements to ensure that his own son wins the race.
Right.
That movie was WW and the Dixie Dance Kings.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
That was...
Yeah. I know the name. But yeah, Hot Rod's worth watching if you like. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful car, man.
Looks like a scallop.
He came rolling into the dance with the state boy chasing after him, and I can't remember. It's been forever since I saw the movie, but towards the end, he went out to the field there and gave it one last wash and doused it in gasoline and burnt the car.
What a shame.
Wow.
That was a 55 golden anniversary Oldsmobile Rocket 88.
Yeah. Nice.
That's a mouthful there, huh?
Yeah, it is. That's cool.
That was I think I don't know if I have the picture still. I have to look for it. This is back when Brianna was looking for cars, and we were going out to our local rib place, and it was a 55 Pontiac.
Yeah,
that was for sale.
With the belt buckles down the hood.
And I stopped and told Brianna, and my wife was like, "No, we're buying her something safe." And I said, "This is a tank. This would be the safest. I mean, you couldn't hurt your. I mean, couldn't." And she stood next to it, and I took a picture. If anybody was looking out the window, probably thought we were crazy because it was sitting up in the driveway, and I can't remember what it was. They wanted something like $5,600 or something for it.
You know, it's funny that how now certain cars, like we were talking before, how like the Camaros, like any Camaro now is unobtainium.
Yeah.
Even the undesirable ones. But other cars now, you know, it always happens. Other cars will fall off. Mm-hmm. And case in point, when we went to get our Slurpees today after working on the Chevy, my buddy pointed out there was a car sitting in the parking lot. It was a 1950 Ford.
Wow.
And it was kind of like a stripper model. You know, it was like a dark blue, didn't have a lot of trim on it, had baby moons. So this car was built probably period correct by a guy who is now probably in his 70s. He's had it a long time. He says, yeah, the car's been for sale for a long time. The guy is asking $10,000 and nobody's picking it up. I said, yeah,
really?
That's one of those cars. I said, I don't think it's a particularly good looking car. I'd rather have a 50 Chevy than a 50 Ford, but I know that those cars do have, or do, you know, there's a following but they're all the
Right.
guys that had them when they were in high school. So they're like, 10 years, 10, 15 years older than I am.
Yeah.
And so already me, that's like lost on me. But I said, you know what? It's probably a good buy for 10 grand because I'm sure you couldn't. So he says to me, why? I said, I'll tell you why. I said, you couldn't build one for 10 grand.
No.
If you even found one with a decent body, what are you going to build for 10 grand these days if you had to build a car? So for that reason alone, it's probably a good buy.
Yeah, I like the 49 Ford.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the body changed in 50. That was it.
Yeah, they were very similar, just the tail lights were turned the other way.
Yeah. So,
Well, and the other thing is like if there's any rust, like not on this car, but on if you're trying to find one to build, I'm pretty sure that's one of those cars that there's no repops of
Right.
the floor or the
Right.
so it's got to be built from scratch.
There's not a whole lot of the stuff for the 50s Fords out there. There is some, but we did that 55 a couple years ago, and it was the same way. Like, we were able to get some pieces, but not much.
When it comes to trim, it's going to be unobtainium.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Forget
my
about
friend, my buddy Jeff, that did all the glass on my car, he's been doing glass forever. He started doing like house, storefront, shower doors. Then he went to cars. But my buddy at the UD asked me if I could talk to my glass guy. There's a guy over there who's a 65 Buick GS that needs the windshield and the rear glass done. So I said, "Oh, is it the red one that's sitting there at the UD?" And he says, "No, it's a different one." So I sent my friend Jeff a text and I asked him. He says, "No, you know what? He goes, I'm not doing glass on anything newer than 50s. He was 50s and down." And the reason is, he says, the cars have too many issues with rust. And I've seen it myself. And the problem is, I know from his perspective, he looks at a car that looks good, doesn't have any outward rust, but you cut the glass out and the track has rust. Almost they all do. So he's not a metal guy. He's not there to recreate metal. He's there to do glass.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put the glass back in with rusty tracks because as soon as it leaks, who's getting motherfucked? It's gonna be him. And he can't do that kind of repair at the guy's in his driveway or even at the shop. It's too much work. And then there goes the profitability of the job. So I don't blame him for doing that. I don't blame him for not doing it. I could see so my friend Dougie said, "Well, this car is very clean." I said, "Well, if the glass is out, send me pictures of the tracks and I'll show Jeff, and then I'm sure if it's that clean, he'd probably do it because it's just a matter of squirt and stick."
Yeah.
So we'll see.
See, this was the set. See how that center car is
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's something out there, Brian.
So I think that's kind of supposedly that Toyota, that particular body style and that paint scheme, that thing is fairly difficult to find, or it's one of those. I don't know if they had a problem or licensing with, or make, but those things go kind of crazy.
Right.
Well, the real car is hard to find. Are hard to get a hold of. You talk about something that's right now it's popular, and it's because of that movie. Those cars are expensive as hell when you find one, and everybody wants high prices because of what the movie showed, and not everything the movie showed was legit. But
yeah,
that is a fast performing car, but I've seen ones that are automatic and they want prices through the roof, and it's like the whole idea of having a car like that is have a manual. You want it, and you trying to match the price with an automatic of what the manuals are. Yours is completely stock, and you want to go for a price of what these other cars can do, the horsepower they're putting out. Which there's nothing wrong with, obviously, within in stock trim, and sometimes that's more valuable because it hasn't been touched. But has it really not been touched? Has it really not been abused? maybe not touched, but has it not been abused? You know, and I mean, I would love to have one of those cars just for the fun of having one and driving it. Not something to build, just something that put the key in and go down the road and go up the mountain road and enjoy going around the curves and stuff, but not for that price, not for the price that they're going. You know, and eventually that'll drop, but who knows how long that'll take when they keep making their Fast and the Furious movies every couple months. You know, we're up to 10, 11 now.
I don't know, too many.
You know, pretty soon it's going to be Vin Diesel in the Walker. And Walkers are going to be going for high price. Man, did you see him? Did you see Dom Toretto on that Walker? He was scooting along. He had NOS on it. Like,
Amico prices are going through the roof.
Yeah. But so speaking of earlier, you had mentioned boo-boos or being boneheaded. So this is one of the things that went out on the AC unit.
Starter capacitor.
Yeah, and you can see it's kind of domed.
Yeah.
It's
big electrolytic.
It went out last night, it went out yesterday evening, right when I was getting ready to leave for practice. And when I got home, I took the flashlight out there. I tried to look at it. So last night was a little bit uncomfortable of a night. I didn't get a good look at it. I called one of the guys that coaches with me. He works in AC, and went over what to look at. And I don't have a good voltmeter, and nor am I really voltmeter savvy, or multimeter, I should say. But I got a kind of a little bit of a crash course. This morning I went out there as soon as I could see, and it was obvious. But while I was messing with it, I went and got a multimeter and I tested the fuses, and one of the fuses was bad. So I changed the fuse. But as I'm doing all this, I'm texting him because he's out in the field working. And he told me he'd come look at it for me, but the earliest he could get here was Friday, and we're in the middle of a heat wave. And I said, hey, if I send you some pictures and whatnot, can you kind of walk me through? I know enough to get myself in trouble. So I was sending him pictures, and there's a little mini starter. There was a little mini starter capacitor for the fan, and the fan wasn't running and whatnot. So, and initially with this one, the compressor wasn't kicking on, and so I got it where the compressor's kicking on. Well, then I start looking at the fuses, change the fuse. As I was taking pictures, I didn't notice I had moved that little mini capacitor to get a good shot of it, and I didn't slide it all the way back. So when I put the fuse block in, it fires up, and I'm like, yes, that's it. And all of a sudden, a big boom! It arced, and it arced on the
circuit board.
And yeah, so
did it take that? Is that just flash residue, or did it take the board out?
It took the board out. Where it arced was right here.
Where did you find that board as a replacement?
So this is the fun part. I'm sure it's the same where you guys are. The places where you can get this stuff is they only want to sell to licensed guys. And so I'm messaging with this coach, and I'm like, hey, any place that I could find it. And he goes, I could get it for you. The problem is, again, we're back to the earliest I can get there. And I said, well, if you can direct me. Anyways, he sends me to this place, and he says, call them up. They deal, my system is a ream. And he goes, they deal with reams. They're one of the few in the city that still deal with ream. Call them. I start going over it, give the model number, everything. The guy goes, okay, which account? And I said, I have an account with you, and this is private. And he goes, yeah, it doesn't work that way. You got to have you got to be licensed. And I said, look, I can understand the licensing to go get the Freon and stuff with all this, everything you have to do with disposal and all that. But this is monkey business. I'm like, oh, come on, man. And I'm like, and remember that next time you take your car in. I said, because I could.
Do you know who you're talking to? I'm a sheik.
Yeah, exactly. I said, do you know when you need help with your car, it ain't gonna be me that helps you. I'm gonna ask for your account.
Yeah.
Anyways, he that guy told me, try this other place. He said they really don't sell private, but you might get lucky. So I call and I get this guy on the phone and I just say, hey, I need a circuit board and I just start rattling off the numbers and everything. He goes, okay, let me see. He goes, yeah, I got 3 in stock. And I said, awesome. And he goes, he goes, just to double check, do you have the serial number? And I said, you know what? I didn't pull that off of the unit. I can run out and grab it real quick. And he goes, sir, is this a private thing? Is this you? Are you the owner? And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, and I said, look, man, I said, we're looking at replacing our air conditioning unit. I said, we haven't been in the place to be able to do it just yet. I said, I'm just trying to get this thing through the summer. And I said, and I don't trust AC technicians. I've had a couple bad experiences. I said, I'm just trying to get me through the summer and get it to run. And hopefully by winter, when the prices come down, we'll be getting a new unit. And he says, you know what? I can do it for you. And he goes, let me get you the price. He goes, the only key is I can't warranty it for you. And I said, right now, I'm just trying to get it through. So I raced down there and they had it. Like I said, he had 3. I'm kind of glad this went out because the new board is an upgraded board. And it had a bunch of different little features on it, like this wire. It goes on the manifold. It clips on, and this is what takes the temperature reading in case your manifold's freezing in the winter or whatnot. And this one's soldered in. On the new board, it has a receptacle where it clips in, but it also has one that takes the ambient temperature under the cover, but in the unit, like not right up. It's not taking it off of the manifold. And there was something else it had on it, but it also had a LED light on it for a fault light if something goes wrong with it too.
So what ended up costing you?
$73.
Okay. And what about the cap? The cap's got expensive these days.
Yeah. Last time I got one, and this one actually, I've got the date on it. I replaced it,
17.
and so it lasted 6 years. But last time I want to say it was about $25. It was 38 plus,
okay.
After taxes.
Still not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Still not too bad.
But yeah, they told me like with the board, like I said, it was $72 or whatnot. Most AC guys will charge you like $300, $400.
Oh yeah. So for like $100, you're a hero, and everybody loves you again.
Yeah. Well, my daughter got off of work and was home for most of the day. And she was like, "Dad, it's hot."
I would go back to work.
She goes, "Dad, the news is on." She goes, "I hate to tell you this, but when they did the weather, do you want to know the temp?" And I said, "No, I don't want to know the temp." She goes, "Good." She goes, "But I will tell you this." She goes, "You're probably glad you weren't inside watching it. It said it's going to be a hot one. Make sure you get indoors and enjoy the AC."
Right. The TV just melted. So
I will tell you this though. The best part of it all, right when I got it done and I came in and I said, "Hey, reach up, check it." My daughter came out of her room into the dining room. My wife was in the dining room, and my daughter said, "Dad, thank you very much for fixing that. That's awesome." And my wife, said thank you too, and that's what's worth it. Not only saving $1 or $2, but the appreciation.
So I just realized I want to show you guys this a while ago. I never did. My good buddy Kevin, who I was with today, his son has that blue Monte Carlo I showed you. So a while ago, he put a fuel pump in it, and then he had a slight noise in the engine that they traced, I think, to cylinder, maybe it was cylinder number 5, I think. So about 2 weeks ago, they pulled the head off. I was over there and they pulled the head. Well, we actually looked with a scope, and then we verified it. We pulled the head off. That's the piston on cylinder 5. So something scratched the top of that piston.
Yeah.
No other piston has that, and then we pulled the head and looked at the valve surface. No marks in the combustion chamber of the head. So he says, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I didn't hear the noise. I believe that you had a noise." I said, "Something was in there to scratch that piston." I said, "A lot of times something can fall in and it gets banged around and pulverized and out the exhaust." I said, "There's no other, didn't look like anywhere marks on the cylinder or anything." So now I was going to put it back together. And I said, why don't we pop the valves out of that cylinder on the head? And they had tried it the other day. Kevin was telling me this today that his son was like, "Well, I need a tool for that." I'm like, no, you don't. He was with me. So I'll tell you how I used to do it when I was young and broke and didn't have tools. You take a socket, a deep socket, you put it on top of the valve, you whack it with a hammer a couple times, compress the spring, and the keepers will usually fly out. And then you pull the springs off and drop the valve. So you tried that and it didn't work. There's a technique. So we're talking about it today, and Kevin says, "Well, what do you think it could be?" Like the valve, we can see the valve and there's no chunks missing out of it. And I said, it's wild. I said, but maybe, I want to see the valve guide. Maybe the guide chipped for some reason, and it's hard enough that it would make marks. And he said, I think his son got an old style compressor. I have my KD 921. It's just that lever bar. I had one in the toolbox, my brother's toolbox. I'm going to bring that with me. So he said he released, compressed the springs, took out the keepers, and nothing moved. I'm like, well, the springs should have just pulled right off. The valve should have dropped right out. He says, no, it didn't. I'm like, maybe we're onto something. Maybe that valve is slightly bent, and it did chip the guide for some reason. I said, now we have to get it out. I said, before you put that back together, we have to disassemble that. So that's the next side deal thing we got to work on. It's always fun doing forensics, like CSI. So
yeah, probably, and with the valve guide, if part of the valve guide broke or chipped, being bronze, it's soft enough. It probably could have taken a couple hits and then, like you said, either flatten out to the point where it got sucked out through the exhaust.
I said, it's either that or we got to do do an autopsy on your muffler.
Yeah.
And see what's stuck in the muffler, because that's where it would be. So, I don't know. We'll see.
What year is 70, right?
71.
Okay.
Yeah, 350. Small block.
No, I was saying if it had a cat, it'd be be down there in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Cat,
Yeah.
We used to, when we had stuff come apart, it would never fail. Whoever worked on it never took the exhaust and dumped out what was ever in front of the cat. If pieces came apart inside the motor, and then you go start it up, you hear down by the cat, you hear this tin can with 3 bolts and a quarter rolling around down there.
Yeah.
And every once in a blue moon, it'd get hot enough, especially if it went to a ultra lean situation And of course, the cat would heat up, and whatever was in front of it would melt. So then half the cat was clogged up with whatever. It's hard to imagine some of that stuff, but how whatever temperatures it could really, make some weird things.
Yeah. So I had another weird occurrence that I'm still not sure if it's right or fixed, but I think I was telling you, since I put this pump in the tank and all, my gas gauge wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
It was on empty. So last Saturday when I went to the shop, my job was going to be to pull the ring, get the pump out, pull the sending unit off, which I did. But that was when I had the wheel studs that took half the day. But I still pulled the thing. I said, look, I came here to do this. I'm already beat, broken, dirty, tired, but I still got to take this thing apart because the car's on the lift. I got to do it now. And I checked the rheostat, and it gave me 0 to 90 ohms, which is what a GM would have. Put it back in, don't have a gas gauge. So last night, I'm out there, and I said, okay. I did this before to check the gas gauge. I got to do it again. I want to break it's that flat pack cable that runs on a GM from the trunk, under the back seat, under the floor, under the front seat, up under the dash, and that's what connects the trunk wiring. Well, actually, it connects the front of the car to the trunk. It's your tail lights, brake lights, and gas gauge. So I open the trunk, I climb in, and you have that wall right there that's over the rear end, and you can just see the top of the connector on the seat side. But you can't work with it. You can't move it. You can't do anything. I'm like, all right, I know what I got to do. I go in the car. I pull the bottom of the back seat out. And then, of course, it's up under the seat. So I got to take the armrest out, take the top of the back seat out, and now I get at it. So what I did is I split it, and I actually made a tester to test gas gauges. It's just fixed resistances that you could inject. So I put that in line, and I measured it with the ohm meter first and made sure, because it's not 100%, not exact, but I do that. So it sends the signal up to the dash. I look, had quarter, half, full tank. I said, okay, the gas gauge is working, so I know my problem isn't in the front of the car. It's got to be in the back. And the funny thing was, this is the funny part. While I had that circuit open, I measured the resistance going back to the sending unit, and it gave me 16 ohms. So now on a 0 to 90, 45 is half tank, 22 or 22 and a half is quarter of a tank. And it's pretty exact. So I'm like, it's showing me 16. I plugged everything back together, and the gas gauge went to like over a half, almost 3/4. I'm like, well, that should be like 50 something ohms. How did I measure 16 and now the gauge is showing me? So I don't know if it's right or not. I don't even know if it's fixed, but now I have to drive it and use gas to see if it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But
I was getting ready to ask you, because I thought I remember you saying that you had a rheostat, or ohms, so that you can hook it in and make sure, check your wiring up to the gauge.
yes, I will. In fact, I'll show you.
I think you sent me a picture a long time ago on that.
I made it. I was doing a lot of jobs at the shop for a while, and I was doing a lot of, old cars are coming out of the hibernation, and it's always gas gauges, gas tanks. It's all that stuff that's always crappy. So I always wanted to be able to verify. Let me see. So what I did was, oh, come on. Let me move this over. Let's see if this will work now. Window. Okay. So what I did was I started making this. So that's just a regular pot. I was just checking it for resistance. Did the picture just change? Because I had a.
Yeah.
You see the black box?
It's a black box, and it says quarter, half, 3/4, empty, full.
That's what I ended with. So really, it's just a rheostat in there with 2 connectors. You know, I just took some pictures. So now here's 90 ohms. That'll be full. 45 is half. 2.5. I guess that's down at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the shit. But here it is in the Buick. And set at 3/4. The gas gauge is right at 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah.
And half gave me half. And quarter gave me quarter. So I happened to find in one of the service manuals this J22344. GM actually had a gas gauge tester.
Yeah.
It's the same freaking thing. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
We had something very similar to that, but actually it was a little bit more barbaric because it looked like the dimmer knob on your wall.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it was, and it had notches where, and you just turned it. You turn that thing like a dim, like you're dimming light.
This is this is inside the back seat area of the car. This is that connector that you can only see from the seat side. This brown wire is the gas gauge wire. So I just put this rheostat in line. I did this is years ago. But 27 again is quarter of a tank. Yeah, quarter of a tank. Still quarter of a tank. I guess I was a little redundant there in the pic. Oh, there's my trunk floor being painted. There's the gas tank coming out.
Yeah.
But
hey, you know, Ray, I was thinking about that. You know, like, are you sure that when you're making the connection, the connector's not being pushed back in the housing? You know, so when it's connecting in, the terminal is actually not sliding back in the housing.
That flat pack connector is really pretty good. It prevents that because one half of it looks just like a solid brass connector that has little, but I know it's like the plastic is molded around it, and the other side has the female like it's an edge connector, so it's kind of like a computer connector. It's really good. But what I did now is I took my diamond tip files and I went in there and I cleaned all the brass and I used the deoxit sealer, drove it back home, and we'll see what happens. But
I was like I said, I just didn't know if you had a little bit of play in there and it was either sliding up, like one of them was sliding up on top or pushing the connector back.
That's a pretty good connector. It has 2 clips on the outside that click in, so it's pretty. Plus, all the lights are working, so it all comes in the same harness.
Yeah.
So so we'll see. You know, it looked good yesterday. I'll drive it around and see if gas gauge goes down. I know it's working, so we'll see. Just a lot of weird stuff. You're always going back and revisiting. Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. You found the GM part.
I found out in the service manual. Yeah, the picture. I'd like to find one of those tools.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is I want to remake mine. Mine is just like you said. The knob on mine is just a dimmer knob. You just turn it. That's why I had to index it so I know where to stop. I want to do it with a click switch, so I can go, 0, quarter, half, 3/4, and full. And then, but it's got to be a wafer switch because each selection has to have a different resistance. To get what you need.
Yeah.
But
the guy I worked with made one, and he used on a 928. They had a little roll knob for the dimmer light, the lights in the dash.
Yeah.
And he ended up, he didn't have any markings, but you could, with the meter hooked in, you could just get the resistance. It had a fairly big coil on the back side of that thing and when you rolled it. But I had gone to Radio Shack and bought resistors and made a little plug.
Yeah.
And, you know, I knew what, like you said, what a half was. I just plugged it in.
Right.
Or if you just did the ground, you ground it out and went full sweep, you know.
Yeah, it's Ohm's law. I mean, you can calculate it really easy, you know.
So,
like I said, I just used a 100 ohm pot, so I was just, you know, turning it, and I just indexed it on my own. But yeah, so I've lent that to a couple of people. And I'm like, man, where'd this come from? Like, I made it. You made this? I'm like, yeah. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you could use individual resistors if you wanted to. I said, but now it's just in one box. I said, I just happen to be doing so much of them at one time at the shop. I said, I got to have something just so I can. And I put a magnet on the back of it, a heavy magnet. So I actually have it stuck to the circuit breaker box in my garage. So you can stick it to something and it'll stay, and then, you know, you can work with it.
yeah.
Under the car, you could, if you had access to the wires under the car, you could just stick it to the chassis. You know, I kind of went the next step with it.
Of course, back in those days, you could stick it to the dash of the car because it was a metal dash.
Exactly.
Today, you'd have a little hard time.
Exactly.
That's like the guy trying to find the ground and using a wrench on the floor.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know, guys, but it's getting close, and
yeah,
I gotta try to knock it out this week. I tell you, it was great having 2 days off, even though I did a lot of stuff. You know, I took that toolbox all apart and fixed the lock rod. That was real.
Right. What was it? Did somebody damage that thing? Was it?
Well, well, it was a trade-in. Actually, yeah, it was a trade-in, and the guy needed a lock for another toolbox.
Yeah.
So he decided to take the lock from that one out when he traded it in. And that wasn't really a big deal. But when he took it out, on our boxes, when you take that lock out, it doesn't hold it, so it automatically wants to lock the drawers. And he jammed something in there to keep the rods up so that the drawers couldn't lock.
Right.
And in the meantime of doing that, the main lock bar, when he jammed it, it fell down inside the toolbox, and the one rod that actually hooks to the key got bent and it came out. And so I had to take it, you know, all apart and get it all in sync again. And it's just a kind of a pain in the ass. And so I had got it in, and of course, the lock rod turns the lever that lifts the bars up and down, and they get bent a little bit, so then you get the bind and the key.
Yeah.
And so it's constantly just slightly tweaking on that, bending the metal just so that it has the right tension on it.
So I was kind of surprised when you said those Italian boxes were, the jury is out on them yet.
Yeah, when you talked about that, you were like, why, a toolbox company having Italian toolboxes?
Right.
And I understand to a point why Matco did it. I mean, there's a demand for it, and it's a small box. It's actually, I'll be really honest, if I was still turning wrenches, it'd be a great electrical box to put all because the drawers are really nice. They're 7 drawers. They're in a nice size depth where you could put all your connectors, your special, all your tools for that. And it'd be nice to have all that stuff together. Or like I have a old a Kennedy toolbox. That's my carburetor box. It has, I've made dividers, and I have all my jets and springs and gaskets and power valves and all that stuff. It's a great box for something like that.
Yeah.
I just really wish that we wouldn't label it Mako and the quality. This is one of the things, huh?
I know what you're saying. I know exactly.
Well, this is one of the things Mako talks about. They don't want to put their name on it because of quality, and then they turn around and take this company and they plastered our name all over it.
Very prominent. So the question I have is, what happens when one comes back that there's a problem with? You got to ship it to Italy?
No, I just hope I can get parts for it, and I'm taking it apart and fixing it.
Like your standard Ferrari.
If you can, yeah.
Standard Ferrari, yeah. I really wish they had, and I know they're trying to fill a certain part of the market, where we make some really great carts. Our Jamestown, our carts, our U.S. carts are great carts. They're just expensive as shit.
So do you think how does that compare to the tool carts that you sell as opposed to the smallest box? Does it fit in the middle somewhere?
It fits in the middle because that's my biggest problem, and I understand because I don't want to say we're not completely cookie cut because like Snap-on boxes, but we don't have a small box anymore. Our smallest box is still 56 inches.
Oh wow, that's not small.
And Snap-on's got one that's like 42, and we had something similar to that, but the price range was just for a little bit more. You get a bigger box, and sometimes some guys that works great. Other guys, they buy a box and then they can't afford any tools because they're like house poor. You know what I'm saying? They're in debt for 3 years trying to pay a box off.
Right.
And they can't really afford to buy tools, and it doesn't do them any good.
Right.
And these Italian carts or Italian boxes,
Well, and maybe that speaks to why a lot of guys will go to Harbor Freight and buy that stuff because now they have the money for the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you see plenty of Icon and U.S. General boxes that are filled with Matco and Snap-on and Mac tools.
We have a good number. I mean, there's, like I said, a lot of these guys, I call them, a lot of guys will just buy so many, they'll buy the $400 cart, and then they'll have 5 of them, of those roll carts all laying around. And eventually they round them all up and I could trade them into a box.
Yeah, right.
But most of the time,
turn them into a toolbox.
Yeah, well, most of the time though, those carts, those Harbor Freight carts, they're not bad, but they just can't take the weight and move it. They just fall apart.
I see them in every shop, man. There's U.S. Generals everywhere. Oh, shit, excuse me. You see something you go on there, you threw me over the edge.
But I'm really hoping, I don't know, I had a couple guys, I had the carts out, and like I said, I put them up front in the truck, and, of course I had a couple guys say, man, they're awful small.
I would think that as a tool man, one of your biggest problems is either pushing a box and then knowing the guy may not be able to buy the tools for a while, or do you start selling them the tools and tell them, find something to put them in? Like, you're playing the odds at that point. Where are you going to make more sales, on the tools or is it in the box?
Yeah. Well, I tell a lot of guys, you have to invest in yourself, and to invest in yourself, you have to have tools.
Sure.
I said, I could sell you a $10,000 toolbox, but it's not going to give you any good if you can't buy any tools to put in it.
Right.
And and the only problem that I have, most of the guys that I run up against, if I get to them first and they talk a toolbox and I talk them out of it and I say, I'd rather sell you tools. Next week when I go in there, there's a Snap-on box there.
Oh.
And
Wow.
and then of course, then I have to hear, well, I don't have any money to buy tools,
Right.
and I need tools, or they want me now. They say, you got to help. Is there any way you can help me and get me out of this? And I'm like, dude, I'm not here to buy. I said, I'm not a, I can't buy out your Snap-on account because you
Right.
can't afford it.
Right. Hey,
And-
look, at that point, guys got to man up and realize I made that decision. I did this, and
Yeah.
not everything in this world can be a bailout.
And then usually, not all the guys, but most of them, by that time, when you got them buried into that, they can't afford to buy from anybody else, so they continue to buy from that or that other guy. I won't just use them as the example, but they'll buy from the other guy. So you pretty much are out of the picture unless there's something that they really, really want.
Purple
And
wrap.
you're the only one that has it. But
Clay did a thing last week. He put up. He says he bought with his own money I forget if it was a blue or a purple.
no, it's purple.
Yeah, 12-inch flex rack. I put my name in there. I'm like, yeah, man, I want that ratchet.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I was like, I want to get on there and tell Ray we're going to give something away for free.
Yeah.
So
I put my name in there. I'm like, hell yeah, man. You want to give me a free ratchet? I'm taking it. I love that. I'll
yeah,
go
he
with
was
that.
trying. I don't know what. I can't remember what it was. You went and I think you subscribed or liked.
You had to like, subscribe, and then leave a comment.
Yeah, tell them. Yeah, and then they'll pick.
No big deal. Yeah, it was easy stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was. I thought it was a 1/2 inch. I thought it was a 1/2 inch.
Even better. I need a 1/2 inch.
I thought it was a 1/2 inch. The purple. It was a chrome though. It wasn't the black.
Yeah, right.
I got some of my new black purple. The new black.
Right.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you need to let a professional decide on that. Get an unbiased opinion.
Yeah, I got the new black chrome or the satin or whatever they called, and
he described it like almost like an iridescent, where it's like you can almost see through it. Like it's not just like the anniversary ratchet I bought is black. But he said, unlike that one, this one won't scratch. So that's why I'm afraid to use the damn thing, because I don't want to scratch it.
Yeah. So I got a couple in, and it's funny though because they're still sitting on the truck, and I had a guy today. He's like, I wanted a purple ratchet, and I was like, oh, well, I got these here, and he goes, I'll just wait for a chrome one, and I said, why? He goes, well, I don't want you to. I said, if this scratches up, it's gonna look. And I said, well, it's not supposed to.
I don't know. I don't know if we can believe Michael on this one, but he said, unlike the black ones, these will not scratch because it's the color. The black isn't the outside. It's like I guess for lack of a better term, it's almost like a coating, like a clear coating.
Yeah.
You look through and see in the black.
Well, I really wish, Ray, that you were like maybe 45 minutes away instead of 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because I would really, I look at it and I'm like, and I don't think I don't think it would. If I showed you over like this, I don't think you'd get the picture. I mean, because it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll take one, and when I'm out working on the Audi, I really need to get working on the F350.
Hey,
You should do it. Start using one. Hey, you got the perfect test bed. I mean, you could use it, and even if it's scratched a little, you could always resell it as lightly used. And
oh yeah, well, no, Ray, it was repoed.
Oh, repoed. Okay.
Yeah, because if I tell them I have a used one, that doesn't mean anything. But if I said, yeah, I had to jack this from a guy because he didn't pay me, that son of a bitch. Then, oh man, who was it? Do I know him? I mean, that's his. I want to take it. So
you got to put some like initials on it or something.
Yeah, just like, I know you got to. But it doesn't scratch. It won't scratch it. I got to Yeah, scratch the
Just
paint off.
just throw it with a Sharpie. Put like initials on the purple part. Just like JB.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny I
Hey,
say
Brian.
that because I have a set of half-inch metric shallow sockets that are engraved with JB.
Oh
It was
yeah.
a guy my brother used to work with, John Boughton, I think was his name, and they made a trade, or my brother bought him from whatever, and then I got him. So I do have a set of sockets with JB on it. It's my go-to.
What was that, Isaac?
Hey, Brian, if you're gonna head up to take that down for Ray to see, if you're gonna run up to Ray, there's a guy I know. He said that you can avoid the toll roads. There's some spots you can get off, and you'll have extra money at the end.
Right.
No, I've already been through that. Wait till my movie comes. I've already been through that scene. That's that didn't fare. That cost me more money than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
those
told my wife tonight. I said, we got to find there's got to be one point in the year where it would work out where you got some time. I said, because I would drive down. I'd drive down to Brian. I said, but I don't want to just drive down and drive back. That kind of sucks. So it's like, I got to spend some time, but it's got to be on your schedule, obviously.
Yeah, but it was funny. Like I said, I was really surprised. I got some purples then, and I looked at it. I kept looking, and I still have like the very first ones. That came. I have one that in my toolbox, and I got that out and looked, and I'm like, dude, these things, I don't know. So I just hope. But the purples were actually, I think we have. With the blue, I think we're coming out with panel poppers and trim panel tools.
Okay. Anything with a handle.
Yeah.
Anything with a handle is fair game for that.
And there was something else I saw that was going to be coming out purple. We had our battery guns. We had blue 3/8 and 1/2-inch combo.
Right.
And we also had it in that blue. I didn't order one. I really wish I ordered one. But it was that blue camo.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool looking. I already had, of course, they've gotten really, they've gotten to the point where if it's pre-ordered, whatever's pre-ordered, that's how many are ordered.
Wow.
So if I have like the purple floor jacks are coming, that should be here next couple weeks.
Justin, have you had the pleasure of being able to buy any tools in the last month or so?
The Mac guy is actually he's coming by every other week.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So far pretty consistent. So
wow. He must like you guys.
He must something.
You guys must be buying something.
RBRTs.
This is the only one we can buy from.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, we had they did our purple floor jack, and I'm glad I ordered because they're going to end up in the sales flyer, and they also said that whatever was ordered, that's what was made. So there will be there won't be any left over, which kind of sucks because somebody will see it and say, "Hey, I want one," and unless I can find the purple and go down to the Ace Hardware and buy a can of spray paint.
Yeah.
So, but that's what this weekend I got a floor jack to rebuild. I got to put a new hydraulic unit in.
Okay.
So I have that, and the house isn't too bad. I just got to clean up. The only room I've lived in all week, the last 2 weeks, is the kitchen and dining room.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Purple.
Limited edition. Looks good in purple.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, clean off the kitchen table.
Yeah, I got to clean up mine too. We're getting a new. We had a kitchen table made by went to a cabinet maker, and we had a table made. It's one of those. It's like countertop height, so it's like
Oh yeah.
inches. It's like 52 by 52 square.
Wow.
We had them put a drawer on each end of it, so my wife and I can each have a drawer to throw all of our shit in that we keep on our ends of the kitchen table.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
And then we went and bought 4, counter height stools. It's being delivered tomorrow. So,
yeah.
Actually, when I had the minivan from the trip, the morning before I dropped the minivan off, I ran up to pick up these stools. Because they're actually they're bigger than they look, and 4 of them just fit in this minivan. So, I'm having the guy deliver the table. I said, pay him $125, let him deliver it. I said, let him hump it in. And
what is it made out of? Do you know what is it? Do you know the wood made out of, or is it?
I don't remember exactly what kind of wood he used. I know what have no. It's red cherry because it kind of matches my my cabinets.
Yeah.
Now, whether he used red cherry or maybe he used a maple and he stained it red cherry. I'll find out tomorrow. But it's it's a quality furniture grade wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he is a cabinet maker. So, yeah.
There was a guy around the corner from me, and he was a cabinet maker. Felt really bad, dude. This guy worked for a company and decided to go out on his own. Goes out on his own, builds this nice workshop, making cabinets, and he gets out and him and his buddies are out on a 4-wheeler and has a crash and dies, and his wife is now trying to sell off all his stuff. And man, you want to talk about some beautiful stuff that he had in there. Yeah. And it's like, I really would hate to go in there and lowball her, because she's, she doesn't really have anything except for the stuff. But
you're talking about tools and equipment and stuff.
Well, even the cabinets, he had a whole bunch of cabinets that he had made, and man, they are just beautiful cabinets.
Right.
And the last couple weekends, she's been having a yard sale, trying to sell all that stuff, and the tools, with the tools and everything. And I've stopped in twice. She said, when you come back the third time, you're going to buy. And I said, well, I won't stop the third time.
Well, you should tell her. You should say, listen, the reason I haven't bought is because I don't want to insult you with a low offer. I feel bad. And she'll probably say, listen, make me an offer.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of, because
I'll come home bring all the stuff home you won't need.
I'll be coming home with some they're beautiful cabinets.
I bet.
And again, I'm like, well, you could always use cabinets. I mean, when we redid our kitchen, that's everything that came from our kitchen, and my parents' kitchen went in my garage.
Right.
With the old cabinets. And
I don't know anybody yet who hasn't saved something like that.
Yeah.
I did.
And the only problem at the time, I didn't mind, but I had taken the doors off of them, so I didn't have any doors on. And I don't know. I guess I've changed, because now I'm at the phase where I really wish I had doors on these cabinets.
Yeah.
But
oh well.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we got doors on the house, so the house stays cool. So I'm going to go up where it's cool and then go to sleep.
Yeah, I got to get ready for tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm surprised how decent it was. Usually, when we have a holiday in the middle of the week, everybody forgets what day it is.
Right.
It was funny. I did have one guy call me and said, "Where the hell are you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "You haven't stopped here yet." And I said, "I don't see you until tomorrow."
No, dude, it's not Monday. It's Wednesday.
Yeah. I see you. I said, "This is Eddie, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I see you on Friday." And he goes, "Oh, what's today?" And I said, "Thursday." Usually, they're not that, they're a day behind type thing, And I'm like, "Dude, I'll see you tomorrow morning." But
Now Eddie sounds like me. What day is it? Time is it?
he's the shop that has that funny Pontiac. I'll take a picture of.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, good.
Because, but that's I see them tomorrow morning. But oh well. All right, guys.
Well, and and Justin, you keep wrenching on that Chevy. That car is cool. Looking forward to seeing more pictures of that. Bye, Mom. And Isaac, you keep the chic thing going and keep cool with that AC. Go buy a spare cap because you may need that next time.
Yeah.
Actually, now you know the rating of it. You can just go to an electronic supply place and buy it, even surplus. Was it? It's probably like 1,500 microfarads, 2,000 microfarads, something like that. Like 250 volts.
I can barely read it, but I see 60.0 PF plus or minus 6%.
Wait, say that again slow. 60 point who?
0.0 PF.
PF is picofarads.
And then plus or minus 6%.
But picofarads are very small. That's
some of that.
Like 10 to the minus 9.
Yeah. In fact, that buddy of mine was saying, he said on your multimeter you're looking for the MFD. The MFD on the thing, and I said I don't have
microfarad?
That. Yeah, he said microfarad.
See, the symbol for micro is the Greek. It looks like a U. That's the Greek symbol for micro. But they sometimes they abbreviate MF.
That's awful small. That's like really.
Well, picofarads, like I said, it's 10 to the minus 9. That is very small.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's such a big can that's only in picofarads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of something in there.
We'll get a look at the new one and see, maybe you can read it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, we'll check you all next week, and we'll keep in touch during the week and do our stuff and whatever.
Okay, guys, play nice.
All right. Oh, we always do because we can't afford not to.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, fellas.
Take care.
See ya.